Are awaiting core PCE data just coming through here on a month-over-month basis, 0.3% to the upside, in line with expectations. The overall print down here, 2.9%, exactly in line with expectations, 2.9%, slight uptick versus 2.8, which was the forecast, and also the last print that we got on this number. Again, the month-over-month number, 0.3, so 0.1% higher than expected on the month-over-month basis, but in line with expectations. Coming up at 10 o'clock this morning, remember, we do get Michigan consumer sentiment. There's also inflation data in that number, both a 2-year and also a 10-year, or 5-year, I should say, expectation. Yeah, the market liking this as expected, I think, exactly in line with expectations. Shouldn't affect things as far as the Fed is concerned going into September. A lot of people pointing to this number this morning. Obviously, the Fed's preferred look at inflation as the key going into the next rates cycle here. We'll also get non-farm payrolls, remember, coming up in a week's time. So we'll talk about that as we get going here on a Friday. We are sitting, if you zoom out a little bit, on the Nasdaq itself. This was the Jackson Hole high. So we're basically sitting or bouncing off that right now, 575-ish on the Qs, holding as a nice support level here. So we come back for the retest. I guess we're good to go now to the upside. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, Brendo. Excited for the long weekend. Yeah, I'm keeping my eye here on some Canada data, Brendo. Some Canadian GDP coming in at 1.6. Look at this, though. Second quarter exports down 7.5% versus the 1.4% expected. Got to assume that's probably tariff related. We'll do some more deep dives into that. Lots to talk about today, guys. MRVL reporting down aggressively here, 14%. Looks like the Chinese are also looking to kind of counter NVIDIA's dominance in the AI chip space. Alibaba leading the efforts there. We'll talk about that as well. Baba did report. Dell reported as well, Brendo. Affirm reporting. There's a whole bunch of different companies that reported yesterday in the market recap show. We'll get through all of them.
Yeah, Affirm looking really, really good here so far this morning. We'll touch on that coming up. Dell, not so much. We also got retail inventories there. If you take out autos, 0.1%. Wholesale inventories, 0.2%. A little bit of an uptick on the July number there versus a 0.1% expectation. 945, didn't mention that one as well. Chicago PMI coming up this morning also. So stand by for a couple more data points heading towards 10 o'clock, and then should be good to go here. A little bit of a pullback after that number again, if you missed it. Higher than expected on the overall number, 2.9% versus 2.8% for July PCE. But if you go to this column here, that's what everyone was expecting. So yes, an uptick, but in line exactly what everyone was expecting, guys. Happy Friday.
If it's as expected, that means the number didn't come in hot, right? So ultimately, that means we care more about the labor market once again, so nothing to necessarily worry about. That feels like a nothing burger, like as expected, wasn't going to really move anything. Here, like the only shock that you get this morning is Affirm's up way bigger than the expected move, and MRVL's down bigger than the expected move, and Jerry Jones is a fool. That's the
come over to the screen right here. The Green Bay Packers, you could be no more happier than acquiring the best defensive player in the NFL in his prime, 26 years old, for 2 first-round picks. It's almost like Jerry Jones. I don't know if he was into that weed or what he was doing, but right there, Micah Parsons, welcome to the best franchise in the world. You are now a Green Bay Packer, and 4 years. He's only making $188 million, $47 million a year.
But that's what
yeah, he makes the same
position.
Yeah, exactly. So that's nice to see for that. And yeah, we could not be happier. But we shorted, so maybe we'll be seeing you potentially in the Super Bowl.
Yes.
If you make it. I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty confident.
I mean, I would, that to me,
we have the Eagles.
We have the Packers.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I wonder what I have to go over.
So, yeah, the Super Bowl odds must have really
I have to go over to DraftKings. Well, yeah, because it's really just the Eagles. The West is, the NFC
it's the Eagles and...
is not.
Wow, I don't know. Jerry Jones is a fool.
Well, you know what? He tried, and that was the best. I don't know. I'm not upset that they traded Parsons. I think he was going to get traded anyways. It's just for what? And that's all. It's
you couldn't get more for a generational talent.
Like,
I don't know.
You know, on draft day, these guys trade picks like crazy, and then so it's not the right time to make a trade in the NFL. No.
Yeah.
Trey Lance, who's never even thrown a football before, was traded for 3 first-round picks.
Well, because everyone's trying to get the generational talent. But when you have a dude who is basically a guaranteed Hall of Famer, if he stays healthy, he's a guaranteed Hall of Famer.
Yeah. Yeah, we're pretty happy with it. We are, oh yeah, he's probably already in the Hall of Fame right now. All right, so yeah, what's not in the Hall of Fame is the MRVL call yesterday. So now down 14%. I guess just giving us a dollar cost average opportunity down here. MRVL will be talking about that, but yeah, it's not that funny. We bought some, and we talked about this yesterday. Neil used the example of some of the cybersecurity names and things like that. You know, you never want to buy everything, because Neil and I were talking, like, what do you do when you know, stock goes down and you want in on the name? You buy, I was saying you could buy a little bit before earnings just in case something happens, and then when something does happen, then you got to relook at things here. So MRVL, not good. It's that data center warning again. That same thing that basically NVIDIA told us. MRVL told us the same thing, and that's not good. So you're all the way back in here now for MRVL. I mean, the thing is, it was a risky trade to begin with because many stocks are above the 200 period moving average. MRVL is underneath it, so it still had work to do. And you know, in hindsight, down 14%, it's easy to do this, but yeah, maybe we wait until it breaks the 200 period before you make a play. But I think it's coming into, again, where areas where dip buys are relevant. But yeah, we're gonna have to sit on that for now. I sat down here today and I said, okay, crypto is bad again right now. We'll talk more about that story, but down to 111. And the market was down, and NVIDIA's down, and AMD's down, and the chip space is not great this morning. Banks up, and NVIDIA down 1%. So I actually have written down on here, and we don't have it out yet, but we had our number one trade was going to be the TQQ short if we got anything near this 92. We get that number that comes out, and I just hit a quick little fade there. So we're going to wait to see. We got it at 10%. I have another 10% hopefully coming around here again. And then we'll wait to see if it comes back down. I am thinking, I don't want to say free fall Friday, but I'm not feeling great about today in the market. Just hangover. Like we had NVIDIA yesterday.
Well, also too, remember, NVIDIA is down a percent on a few things.
Right,
like,
that's the problem.
You've got BABA with their own chip to combat the demand for AI chips from NVIDIA, and also, I mean, obviously to an extent AMD that could be hitting them as well. And then on top of that, it came out that NVIDIA had the reliance on essentially two customers, their top two customers, grow. So their top two customers were 25% of revenue, and that grew to 39%. So like it's the kind of thing that sometimes the market doesn't necessarily love. NVIDIA is down twice what the Nasdaq is at this moment. I mean, I thought there'd be enough exuberance to get us up into 182, and we just faded off of yesterday's highs. But I'm not even sure we get that. But I'm looking to short pops in NVIDIA today, just based on, it's not just the BABA news, but you put that together with some of the stuff that came out after the report. It wasn't able to break out resistance either, through that 184, 185 area. So that seller was still very much intact. It was a good dip buy at 77 yesterday, but today is Friday, and it's a different day.
So everything as we just mentioned there, core PCE 0.3 versus 0.3, price index month over month 0.2 versus 0.2, trade balance slightly greater, minus 103 billion versus minus 90 billion, and 2929 versus the core. So we just came out as expected. I mean, Brendan dropped the story right at 8:30. Every market right here started to pop. The S&P went up, the Nasdaq went up, but then we said, okay, all the numbers came as expected. So we should, in my opinion, resume sort of this downward trend. If they came a little bit hotter, then obviously we would have thought the market would have been lower even more. But yeah, right now we'll just wait to see what this PCE number is bringing. And I'm interested to hear, we have Michael Noss coming through here today. I think you mentioned maybe crypto. I don't know if you saw the notes, but we'll see what he has to talk about. Yeah, and then Webull, we were kind of excited there on the recap show because Dare and I were watching it, and they turned a profit. They got 5 cents EPS. They had, I think it was 68%. I have to read the news actually, even in our own notes. Is Webull even on our thing? It must be. It's Alphabet, Crypto, Sentinel One. Webull is right at the bottom there. That's okay. Yeah, but anyways, customer assets, 15.9 billion. That's the number I'm looking for. 64% year-over-year increase right there. So in customer metrics there for the assets. So yeah, I thought Webull was, bullish, but now it seems to be
Nothing.
Yeah, seems to be like, let's just follow the market here.
Meanwhile, SoFi is flying.
Webull is kind of like the Dallas Cowboys. Like, it was so good at one point, and then now it's...
I like someone put in the chat, it is the Reggie White trade all over again.
Yeah, the Reggie White trade, but
it was to the Packers. But
yeah, Reggie White was a little different trade.
It was later in his career, obviously.
Yeah, and he had to get there was some sort of a league permission. Yeah,
I like
you got 30,
both
30, 36
No,
years old?
it's just depth, right? Like, it's just, you need some bodies.
Yeah, let the bodies hit the floor, that's for sure.
Wow.
Okay, so yeah, lots of stuff happening. Even Open Door, man. Open Door starting to go again. We talked about, sometimes you let sleeping dogs lie a little bit, and that's happened here a couple of times where we got hit back down, sort of bounced.
Sound issues.
Oh, okay. No sound now, but anyways, we go down to 1.8, back up to 4.8 there. Now we're trying to sleep around this 450 area, so we'll see what happens here with Open Door. But yeah, okay. I hope the sound is now back, which it sounds like it is, or it seems like it is.
Jerry Jones tried to shut us down.
Yeah, Jerry Jones was like, I'm shutting this thing down for sure. This is, I don't know. Maybe Parsons is... Thing is, now you're gonna watch. This is what always happens. Now he's gonna get hurt again or something. You never know. But okay, we're back now. We're ready to go. So let's go back over to the desk and figure out what's going on with Mr. Noss.
All right, it's that time of the month, really, the end of the month, where we can look back at technically what has happened. And I was actually reading this morning, and I'm glad Mr. Noss has come along with some monthly charts to have a look at this morning. I was reading 4 in a row here. We're working on Michael Noss. Happy Friday. 4 in a row here for not only the overall market, but a number of different subgroups in the actual market itself. So we'll go through, talk a little bit about that. This monthly chart for the S&P, though, is still looking pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is something, we're cheating a little bit here because we still have a day left. So I brought a bunch of monthly charts, but of course there could be something catastrophically bullish or bearish to happen. But one of the main benefits about doing monthly charts is that unless something crazy happens, their looks are going to be about the same. So just keep that in mind. And also I always try to make a case every month about, while I'm on here talking to you guys, about the importance of these monthly charts. And even for day traders, short-term swing traders, which most of us are, it's important to take that kind of big step back, I think, periodically, and, ratchet up the time frame on your charts and go through your list just to give a good understanding and feel of where everything is, and that can help guide some short-term decisions and that type of thing. So it's good just to take a step back and we're looking at the trying not to get lost in the forest and of the intraday kind of action. So right here, like Brendan was saying, the S&P 500, that is 4 months in a row of nice green action, up again every month ever since April, where we had that massive bottoming tail, that massive hammer that kind of just propelled us up here into new highs and beyond. And you can see a couple times on the chart that you've had 4 months up in a row, and it didn't necessarily mean a top. There's been a couple times in 2024 and then in 2023 where you've had 5-6 months up in a row, and not a huge crash after it, maybe a rest or something. But, looking at this chart, I'm saying, hey, this is looking not toppy, but maybe just a little bit tired. Maybe we need a little bit of a rest here, a couple months of sideways action, which would mean, pullbacks and bounces, that type of thing, inside of a range to maybe work off some of this overbought action. It doesn't necessarily mean down, but again, it could mean that we do a little bit of a rest. Next chart here is the MDY. So I want to kind of go down the cap scale a little bit. So your S&P 500 is your 500 largest companies out there. They're the big guys that we all know, the NVIDIAs and Microsofts and all these big guys. So MDY is your mid caps. So they're not companies that are small caps, so they're not, junky, they're not really unprofitable or anything, but they're kind of in the middle ground. A lot of energy type names, things like this, industrials, companies that, have good income and, they make money and pay dividends and that type of thing, but they're not these massive companies that probably everyone heard of. You probably have heard of half of the companies in here, maybe if that. And you can see the mid caps, again, 4 months in a row, same bottoming tail that the large caps had, but not quite at an all-time high. So some room to go here to maybe test that all-time high to see if that smaller cap scale could kind of take off. Last but not least, next is IWM. So IWM again is the small caps. So now we're talking, $2 billion companies, little guys, mom, pa shops, small banks, biotech companies trying to invent things, that type of thing. This, I scrolled back all the way to 2021, and you can see huge consolidation. We're basically just at the high end of a massive base. Every time we've gotten up to this zone, we've gotten rejected. And I want you to note how large this candle is, this monthly candle, versus what we saw on the higher cap companies. So this monthly candle is just kind of showing that, yes, we've had more action in IWM. I've been talking a lot about that where it comes to the short IWM versus the large cap tech stocks. Seems like this is starting to revert a bit where there's still a little bit of room for IWM as of the last reporting. They're still short IWM, so could be a little bit of room to go here on the smaller cap. And then all the way down here, this is the micro caps. The next one, the IWC, is your micro cap index. And these are, I think, sub-billion-dollar companies. So little tiny companies that, they could all go to zero and it wouldn't really affect too much of the market, but just showing, again, another really big candle, a nice little breakout of the prior high, but not quite at all-time highs. So we are definitely being led by the big cap stocks. They are the stocks that are making the all-time highs. I'm looking to see maybe there's going to be some rotation where we get a bit of a back off in those large cap companies and then a catch up in these small caps. And just two sectors that were kind of interesting to me here. One more to look at first and then two quick sectors. This is the RSP. So this is the equal weight of the large cap companies. So it's still large caps, but it's not really dominated by your NVIDIAs and your Microsofts and your Metas, more of kind of what the average large cap company is doing. This is the first all-time high breakout in this one, so this may have some room to go as well. Again, two sectors, only two sectors really stood out. This first one, again, I've been talking about a lot. Full disclosure, right? I'm in this one. I'm very interested in here. We've been talking about this anchored view app from the all-time high on the psychedelic sector. If we get a strong close today, it looks like this will be the first monthly close above that anchored view app since it's existed, so could be a little bit of a turnaround story here. I'm interested in that sector. Then the next one's Ethereum. Bitcoin, I know, has been not doing too much and down a little bit. The monthly chart doesn't look too phenomenal, but Ethereum, if you zoom out enough, and which is kind of the point of this exercise, this looks like just a really long base that we are trying to break out of. Now, we're up 4 or 5 months in a row to get there. So maybe we pull back for a month, maybe we consolidate for a month or so and then break out. But this chart to me, I don't know, this was the most bullish from kind of the monthly standpoint that I was looking at.
All right, if we go back to the overall market, part of that note that I was reading this morning also mentioned the simple fact that if you go back to 1928, 55% of the time, September is a negative month.
Mm-hmm.
So just sell going into the long weekend, come back in October?
I don't hate it, and also because if you also combine that with the first major Fed rate cut in a cycle, and I know we've had a couple years ago, and now they're going to start back up again, potentially in September. That's usually around a top as well. So there could be, you combine that with the markets are definitely up a lot. I don't necessarily think that it means that we crash or that we sell off or that we go down a lot, but I really could think that maybe September, October, which are generally kind of softer months anyway, maybe we just do nothing. Maybe we consolidate and we chop in ranges, which doesn't mean you can't make money doing that. It just means you got to do it a little differently, right? Buy dips, sell rips, as opposed to this market, which has just been kind of chase breakouts and chase new highs.
Yeah, a lot of people with other things obviously on their mind going into the start of the school year, et cetera. Michael Noss, enjoy your long weekend, and we will touch base next week.
I'll talk to you next week. Have a great long weekend.
That's right. Thank you, Michael. Long weekend. Kids going back to school, although I know a lot of places in the States are probably
they're already
everywhere
there.
in the States are already back in school, so you've had that. But the psychedelics, huh? MindMed is a name that, believe it or who's excited about MindMed? Sharif is that excited about MindMed. This is on a weekly chart. I know. Michael was looking at monthly charts, but the weekly chart on MindMed here, little rounded bottom and a higher low. This one actually could be breaking out. Now, on a weekly time frame, it's not close to the breakout price. Maybe in the next couple of weeks, it's definitely a September-looking thing here for a potential breakout on MindMed. That's an oldie, but a goodie. It's been beaten up pretty bad. The space wants to go. This is one to keep an eye on for next week. If we're looking for trades, Nuke up 38% and still going. It just broke the venture this morning. So keep an eye on this. Over the 11 million shares. There's small cappers, big cap, cap names that we'll cover here today. But Nuke looks like it's one for the runners. And we have a special treat. It's Friday. You know what's options expiration. We get Joey options to do upgrades and downgrades.
Yeah, he's doing upgrades.
Yeah.
He's been doing upgrades and downgrades for a minute here.
Yeah,
so I always wonder if he's going to do the options talk.
I know.
Right there. All right, Joe, let us know what's being upgraded and downgraded.
Sounds good, guys, and happy Friday. All right, let's take a look at some of the upgrades and downgrades. A lot from the earnings reports yesterday evening. All right, guys, so on the top of the list, we have Burlington Stores getting that price target raised to $350 by TSLA Advisory Group. And also Dell getting the nod as well, too, but negative on the session, guys. Price target raised to $130. Now, Elastic also getting that upgrade as well, too, to $150. Now, Ulta Beauty up on the session so far in the pre-market, getting that raised to $610 by TSLA Advisory Group as well. Now, on the downside, Gap Stores is getting the downgrade, guys, to $24 by TSLA Advisory. Fell also down to $80 by Needham, and then Outlook Therapeutics, no specific target, but
I was like, all right, and now we have on the downgrade side, we've got MRVL, we've got Ulta Beauty. Too good over here, and what's up, ladies? No, but yeah, so some big look. MRVL off earnings. I think we're going to be talking about that a lot, coming up here right now. But the other name was we looked at Ulta Beauty. Ulta Beauty had a nice little run the last couple of days, so we'll have a quick little look on here. $550. So we'll have to wait to see if that has any effect. Up 3.5% right there. Ulta Beauty continues to work out. Remember, they had that deal with Target, so they're going to be coming out of Target stores. So maybe there's some renegotiations happening there, but Ulta Beauty continues its march higher right there. The retail sector, it has its ups and downs. We talked about, well, Gap was on there as well from last night, and so there's a few different. I guess I don't want to say smaller, but when you talk about market cap, they are smaller names. But Gap, Abercrombie's, American Eagle. Sydney Sweeney, I think, was American Eagle Outfitters, but then there was also something to do with Travis Kelce was also, I don't know, was that Abercrombie maybe, A&F? But there was some more as well, as now Taylor Swift is 62% in the betting world that she will be the one doing the Super Bowl.
62%.
62% chance for Super Bowl halftime show. It was supposed to be Dua Lipa, but then now apparently because Taylor's married now to, or getting married to Travis Kelce, who, by the way, I don't think Kansas City will make the Super Bowl.
I was going to say it'll be great because then Travis Kelce doesn't have to worry about playing while his wife is doing the Super Bowl because the Bills are going to be there playing the Packers right now. If the Bills play the Packers in the Super Bowl,
yeah, I like the Packers.
We gotta go.
Yeah, we'll have to. The show will definitely buy us Super Bowl tickets.
We gotta go.
We'll go. We'll hold up Trader TV signs.
We gotta go.
We'll get a lot of viewers on that. But anyways, Andre, just the chat is saying that there are some mic issues. So I don't know if you're hearing that on your end. If there are mic issues, we apologize. We'll get those going. But right now, guys, we are in 4K.
Yes.
So you can see all the blemishes. That's why we put on the makeup.
Well, we want to make sure that you guys get the best view possible, but just one other note on
maybe they're just like, wow, these guys are way more handsome than we thought.
Well, I don't know about
I think that's probably what they're thinking.
That's
probably what they're thinking, but I don't
say that.
I don't want to put words in people's mouths or anything here, but I think that's what they're thinking.
I don't know about that, but
oh boy.
How are you going to downgrade? Look, first of all, downgrading the company when, who cares about the downgrade? What matters here with Gap is what happened last night when it was immediately bought back up. And then what's already happening this morning where they're just buying it up again. We saw this with the cybersecurity names. The first market reaction will tell you what they think about the earnings regardless. They blamed everything on the tariffs and nobody cared. And ultimately, it was disappointing in some veins, but they didn't care. It's up 2.5% when it was down double digits in the aftermarket yesterday. So maybe some people got caught offside with this one. It's got to be on the watch list today for you, to me. Like, as long as it holds a 50 period today, that's initially where I was looking long. It's so far away from it. I have to drop 5% to get there that I didn't put it on my note. But I only want to look for a long today in gap. And maybe it does get to 21. I don't know. But certainly, I love that setup. When you rinse out and then you start going the next day. We've seen retailers do this before. We've seen cybersecurity names do this before. What did we see CrowdStrike do yesterday? It was a little different with CrowdStrike because it didn't quite gap as far, but this is same thing. They bought it up and then bought it up and didn't stop buying it. So sometimes it's more about what the money does after that initial algo push on earnings. And yeah, downgrade or not, it doesn't really matter. Price doesn't lie.
All right, let's go back over the desk and see what the boys are up to.
My screen is breaking in front of me, but that's okay. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to talk about here, regardless of whether or not I can see anything. Here's Alibaba just popping up in front of me on a couple of scanners, taking out the highs, in fact, right now. I didn't see any further comments on this, but off we go here for Alibaba on a better than expected report.
This is a fantastic report. In addition to the other headline that we got, is they're accelerating their advanced AI chip production out in China. It looks like Baba's leading the efforts there. They've launched a new chip, more versatile, apparently, according to reports on NVIDIA's H20, specifically made for the domestic Chinese market. It's positioning itself sort of as a homegrown alternative. We'll get to this on the rundown, but there is rising local competitors now for NVIDIA's chips in China. Meta X is one of them. Byron Technologies, obviously Huawei. We've spoken about that ad nauseum with their Ascend chip. So yeah, it looks like, you know, there's clearly a will in China to push this through, Brendo. So Alibaba leading the way.
ADRs in general positive for the most part, guys, because of this. Nice move here for Baba to start.
Monster move for Alibaba. And remember, the Chinese ADRs have a tendency to sometimes to steal over from Sharif, bamboozle at the open when they're gapping up like this, and it essentially just gapped right into 128 bucks. All the usual bullish stuff that I like gets completely thrown out the window. Pullbacks into prior highs, pullbacks into prior support. That crap ain't happening now on Alibaba. You're not going to see 122, which was the closest possible close. It did seem like that was, whatever. Like that seemed like a level before the stock went absolutely ham. So I think you're eyeballing 125 in here. And the important thing is somebody looks like they've wanted to accumulate Alibaba in the low 120s and the teens at the 50-period moving average. How long did we sit here? We sat here for an entire month, essentially not even moving, 117 low, 125 high. So now you're breaking out that 125 high. So I think look back in, if we get a dip at the open, the 125, I'm actually didn't actually have this one on the note, but we gotta have this one on watch for the 125 for sure here on Alibaba. I mean, everyone's gonna want them to want to have a competitor in China anyways, to have a chip that competes. So this makes sense, and there will be demand if they can pull this off. And let's not forget, I mean, their core business is doing fantastically. Their cloud, remember how everyone was crapping on Amazon for under 20% cloud growth? Well, these guys were 26%, I believe, or in the mid-20s at least, right? So, that's more in line with the big cloud companies' growth, and that's what everyone liked here in the U.S. when it came to cloud growth for Microsoft and for Alphabet. So, I like Alibaba. I still hold some of it, but kind of wishing I'd bought more. Ultimately never got back down underneath $100. But today, look for a dip into 125 first. If it loses that, if we lose 125 and it does that, real bamboozle, then maybe that 122 comes into play.
Yeah, I was going to say, I have Alibaba written down here I have it on the sticky note. I'm just putting it out. That's what I was just typing right now. I'm putting it out here to 124. I always use either VWAP or the 200 period moving average, and I think it's, you know, we showed it to our good friend Brian Shannon over there at Alpha. Oh, we're not even doing the rundown. I thought Baba would have been on there, but okay. You know, nice move up there for Alibaba today. I was gonna say this is just more competition, and it's not great for the space, which is why I came in here and I. In the tweet, I feel we're short for a reason here. I don't like what's sort of. Uh-oh, there comes in. Okay, there's a report of a new chip that's compatible. Baba again, so it's the same. I have it written down here, when there's a gap, play to VWAP, so I don't think it comes back down this far, but if it does, we want to be. I think the market's going to come back a little bit. There is a chance that Baba does fade, and if it does, I think this is the strong name that you want to pick up. I think you want to pick up some Baba down here, 124, 125. And it's just about diversifying your exposure to the tariff trade, basically. It's if something goes bad, is something wrong? Oh, no audio again. Okay, I know the sound is not great. All right, so we're just hearing in our ear, thanks, Andre. We're just hearing on our feed, in our ear from our audio department. If it's bad, maybe go down from 4K is what I'm hearing, but if you take off the 4K, you should get a better feed, and that's what people are also saying there in the chat. So we apologize, we're working through it. The reason why we went to 4K, better picture, hopefully a better program, and we'll work our way through some of these glitches, I guess. As my kids say, Dad, it's glitching. I don't know, they haven't said that in a while, but like I guess when we had slower internet or something, it's like, it's glitching, but I guess now we have 1.5 fiber right now, so that's not, it's not glitching. Not lagging
my daughter
anymore.
gets to use is old, so
exactly.
She gets to say glitch.
Or the devices, right? They're using an old iPad. It's glitching.
My iPad glitches.
My little Minecraft guy can't move anymore. Okay, so it's intermittent. So okay, there it is. So thank you, Hamster. I appreciate that that we look more handsome in 4K. Really? But you know, I don't know. All right, so we're just playing around with that joke. All right, let's go back over to the desk right now. But DeepSeek, all these kind of stuff now happening in our ear. Huawei now training models. Everything is starting to happen in the AI space. As Joe mentioned yesterday, second inning, I think you said, like pretty early in this AI game. So there's going to be stories that are coming out pretty much every day, every week, getting us, you know, excited or not as excited about some of these AI trades.
And NVIDIA down over 1% now.
Yeah, not good.
Not good.
I wrote down AM. We're going to talk about it because we have to go over our watch list. But I have AMD again. AMD's been my #1 stock all week, and it's the #1 trade again on the watch list for me. Let's go find out what the boys want us to talk about over at the desk.
Yeah, 65.17, guys. That's where we closed out yesterday on the ES September contract, with the overnight high being 65.18. So we're still kind of, you know, at the limits of yesterday's high. We're holding above 6,500 right now at 01s, with the overnight low 64.88. So if we hold 6,500 at the open, we're going to look to use that as support. If we lose 6,500 for whatever reason, we're looking at that same area we looked at yesterday, 64.75. If we really get going, hold 6,500, 65.50, Brendo, as resistance.
Happy Friday, everyone. First off, if you haven't done so yet, make sure you jump down to the description of the video. Top link in the description will get you to the sign-up page for the watch list. Has everything you need to know on it. Every single morning comes right to your inbox, absolutely free of charge. Let's go to NVIDIA to start things off here this morning. I mean, not a heck of a lot going on the past couple of days, but this China narrative continuing on a couple of fronts now. As we said, Baba coming out now with another possible challenge to NVIDIA's market share in China specifically, which is so important.
Which has been dropping, Brenda. We know it was about 28% back in 2023. Now it's about 13. Let's talk about what happened here. Alibaba has launched a new AI chip more versatile, according to reports, than NVIDIA's H20 for domestic market. The company's positioning itself as a homegrown alternative amid U.S. export bans, and their cloud service revenue, which we'll get to on the next item, there rose 6%. Obviously, cloud has a lot to do with AI. Washington Washington's limited NVIDIA's AI chip exports to China, including the H20, with now reports coming out that they're making a new China-specific variant called the B30A based on the Blackwell architecture. Despite the curbs, though, Brendo, Chinese AI companies are accelerating R&D with government support. And here are some of the companies that are involving themselves. We already mentioned Alibaba, but there's MetaX out in Shanghai. Byron Technologies posted a $217 million breakout quarter, and then everybody knows about Huawei and their Ascend AI chips. The financial markets kind of like this, and Huawei's Ascend 910B chip has become one of the central chips to the Chinese AI labs and cloud providers, with demand really outstripping supply here. So we'll see if these Chinese tech companies can kind of close the gap a little bit.
Yeah, still kind of consolidating after the earnings move down here, guys, for NVIDIA. What are we doing today?
Yeah, well, it's consolidating in the wrong way.
What are we doing, huh?
Right? Like if we didn't get this Alibaba news, and if maybe we didn't hear about the greater concentration in a couple of their biggest clients when it comes to revenue for NVIDIA, like that increased, like the concentration in their top 2 clients for data center revenue it grew like 50%, right? So it went from 25 to 39, which is actually a little bit more than that. So that's not always the best thing. And if you're not going to potentially get as much growth out of China, that's now for another reason in question. Yeah, I'm looking a little bearish on it today. Like in the absolute long term, I mean, NVIDIA is going to be fine. Let's be real for a second. But in the short term, 185 held like a champ. Lower high was obvious here. I mean, I put 182 in the note, but you can see like anywhere in this zone near the tops, I want to fade it. And what's crazy is even when the market went up on that number, we got that PCE number, NVIDIA barely budged. That's you're not used to seeing that. Like usually, we get a decent little bounce there in the Qs a little bit off an 830 number. You're going to see NVIDIA maybe try to go a buck or two, and it just had no juice. So it's weaker than the overall market. I'm going to be fading pops into this, and if it never gets up into the 181, we can at that point try to play it a little bit by ear. But yeah, looking for the fade there. Oh, the other name is maybe like not a proxy, but like an alternative. SMCI had some negative news. You'll see that on the watch list as well. It's not a flat bottom break because it already broke these lows at 43.5, but it's a little bit closer, just a little bit closer to where you'd pop and fade than I think NVIDIA might be. But yeah, looking to fade this group. And of course, I mean, if NVIDIA goes down, it brings all the chips down with it. Typically, not always. I mean, sometimes you'll see like maybe like Intel will be up because it doesn't care. But for the most part, if NVIDIA goes down, they're all going down.
Yeah, I'm not like worried about the China trade as far as like some of the investments, but I think for today it is a little bit of a problem. So we're going to do what we've been doing. There's AMD between 168 and 169 short. Now with this news and the market's getting a little bit lower right here, we could not see this level, but we are watching NVIDIA for that short as well here today. So we're gonna watch out for some of those levels. Yesterday we nailed this AMD trade, and I think we can do it again. You're at 167 here. Some of the best trades that we've had on this has allowed it to get up, and then we smack it right back down. I mean, that's what happened earlier on this week. I don't think it was. Yeah, there it is yesterday. So here's the run up yesterday, then whoosh all the way to the downside as well. That was on earnings. We didn't get too much the day before, but here we go. We actually top ticked this as well at 169.50, and then it came right back down in. So that's AMD off the open, right? Has had the ability to do these kind of moves. That's on the NVIDIA earnings right there, but that's yesterday. So I'm looking for the same kind of a play here today that's why I wrote down between 168 and 169. It's quite clear I don't want to be short past this 169. And even if you are short past the 169, I think it's about looking to see what your share size is, because I even like this area better. So I feel like we could do, like we had a $14 winner or whatever on Tesla yesterday. And I feel that we could do the same type of thing here where it rips up and maybe we get stopped out right around here, but then it's clear it doesn't want to go up, and then we can smash City back down again. So for me, it's AMD all the way today. We've just been, it's kind of like just address the trades that you've been making, trade the stocks that you've had some success on. And I think NVIDIA's P&L #1 for me in the last, let's call it year, but day 2 off earnings, anything can happen with this stock and anything can happen with this space. And I would say the same type of thing here for NVIDIA, but the levels just to me aren't as clear except for up here, 182. And do we get to there? Maybe. And if we do, we'll look at that. So I just want to be net short today, everything, until something changes my mind. The only name that we don't want to be net short, of course, is what's on deck right now. Yeah, no, Affirm, I mean, Neil's saying Affirm. I don't know if I'll be trading Affirm. And the thing about Affirm, too, is that we had that huge move, and we'll talk about this in a bit, but we had MongoDB yesterday, or 2 days ago. We had Snowflake yesterday with a continuation higher throughout the day on good reports. So, you know, Affirm's the one that's primed for that because it's up 14, 15%. It's the
only one, right?
And it's the one that could continue to go, but I don't think so. And we'll talk about that when it comes up. So, all right, BABA earnings right now. Let's go over and figure out more about earnings and more about this chip news.
Yeah, coming back in a little bit here. 128, a bit of a level if you zoom out on Alibaba as well. We touched on it just going into the top of the hour there, but we'll reiterate here. I mean, ADRs across the board, pretty strong outside of the EVs, it looks like. EVs a little bit weak on the day, but Alibaba leading.
This was a really good report, Brendo. So let's just get right down to it. Very few negative line items here. Revenue came in at about 247 billion yuan, which just give or take is around $36.5 billion. That was below expectations, believe it or not. So that was the first miss. But net income surged to about 43 billion yuan, well above that 28.5 expected. It was boosted by the equity investment gains and trend dial disposal, including those investment gains. Brendo, net income would have actually declined 18% year over year, and the stock is up almost 40% year to date. Here's how they did in their different segments. Their cloud and AI. Their cloud revenue reached 33.5 billion yuan, up 26% year over year. AI-related product revenue saw triple-digit growth for the 8th consecutive quarter, and their adjusted EBITDA and cloud rose 26%. Here's how they did in their e-commerce segment. That's what I know them for anyway. Their core e-commerce revenue rose 10% year over year at about 19.6 billion yuan, driven by a 10% customer management revenue, and their quick commerce, which means 1 hour delivery or less. The revenue for that climbed 12% year over year, and their adjusted earnings in e-commerce dropped 21% year over year, reflecting the heavy investment in the instant commerce wars. And their international commerce, Brendo, saw a 19% year over year increase, with losses narrowing there. Not a bad look.
Yeah, a lot of positive opinions here from analysts this morning as well, guys. Rightfully so for Alibaba.
It's hard not to agree. And we sort of talked about how somebody likes it, right? Like, and again, I think when you're looking at something like this, you make assumptions a lot of times when a stock is consolidating, but when you're consolidating in a bit of an upward pattern, and you've seen the Chinese names have a pretty good move recently, and BABA was just sitting here accumulating at the 50-period moving average. So to me, when you break out of something like this, I'm only looking in one direction. Like, I cannot look short when I see a stock breaking a consolidation this long to the upside. The same way if it was breaking down, I'd be looking short. I got to be looking long today. So, the levels I have is 122 and then around the 125 in VWAP. So I'm looking for a pullback in here on Alibaba. I just feel like it's going to do volume today. You've got the chip news, which is good. You have the fact that if the market falls, this doesn't necessarily always have to follow the U.S. market, which is a good thing. You can have NVIDIA down, you can have U.S. chip names going down, because this can be a positive for them and a net negative on the other side. So I think this gives you some leeway for the long trade here on Alibaba. What right now is a negative market. There's not much that's up. But we talked about Alibaba. I just see Micron popping here, guys, or everybody. And yeah, there's something going on here with Micron. See, there's always something strong here. There's got to be a story on Micron. We'll see if we can't get this one, because there's no way Micron's popping $3 here and going green when you've got NVIDIA sliding, you've got the market trying to pull back in here in red. So Micron getting a big-time bid. But BABA, yeah, like the long, 125, 122, those will be the levels. And I guess there's a bull market somewhere. Go Micron. Not sure what this news is yet.
Just having a look here. Not seeing much, though, for Micron.
I heard something in my ear.
Sean, do you want to jump in on BABA again?
I was going to say my ear there about SK Hynix and stuff like that. So we're going to find out there what's going on with Europe and Micron. But yeah, so I wrote down right here for Alibaba that we had similar levels. I heard what Neil was talking about down there, but I'm going to go a little bit lower, 123 to 124. Potential strength if China chip headlines stabilize. I mean, it's just like, we've heard these stories before about DeepSeek and everything, right? Alibaba's obviously with earnings as well getting bumped up, but I was talking about when there's a gap, play that to VWAP, and I don't have a problem starting it at 125. I think that might be a decent level there to get going. Obviously, as the market comes 15 minutes now, we're getting close to these levels meaning something. So I like this area. If we do get this dip down, you're too strong right now. You're up 6.7%. So it's not, I'm not sure it's going to fail, but if the market does take a little bit of a dump here, you're underneath VWAP, I could see Alibaba coming in and giving us something down here. The reason why I wrote down 123, I think that's the kill zone. So I think if you get into here and it's coming back, then you don't want to hold it too much through like 122.50, something like that. So between 124 and 125, I don't want to get too early to the name, but I do want to be long. So in a day where there's not too many longs on the board that I can see, and I actually have, we don't have MRVL on this board here today, but MRVL's down 14%. The other long I think is potentially Webull down here as well, near 14 and change. So we'll wait to see if Webull can hold this bid. It looks like it's a decent support area right here at 14.50. They surprised me with their numbers there yesterday with an EPS 5 cents beating. We didn't have any earning estimates, but I didn't think it would be positive. So they're now turning positive, which is great, I feel like. So I do like to support this Webull long if that can come in. So a couple different long ideas right here. And from, again, one long, one short with NVIDIA and Alibaba. And now we have Dell coming through again. We'll go over to the desk right here, but let me just find out what Dell's down with 4% or so, I think it was. 7% right now for Dell, going a little lower here, breaking off that 126 and now getting into 125. So Dell with the downside move. Let's go to the boys and find out the story with Dell, and then we'll talk about some trade ideas.
There you go. Do you want to show that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. This is the headline, guys, that came in. That's what Sean was talking about with respect to SK Hynix. So the U.S. will make it more difficult for global chip makers like Samsung, SK Hynix, and as well as Intel to produce these chips in China by revoking the permission for the companies to receive American semiconductor manufacturing equipment there, according to the Federal Register. So you're going to have companies like Lam Research and Applied Materials, Brendo, that won't be able to send their equipment to China unless they receive a special license. So this will help Micron, which is a major competitor, U.S. competitor that is, to SK Hynix.
Yeah, all right. I just checked out Intel as well. A little bit of weakness coming in for INTC. Let's go to Dell. Speaking of weakness, coming up to session lows right now. We're right there right now for Dell. A lot of negative. Anything in red here is a negative analyst view here for Dell.
They beat on the current quarter, Brendo, but the guide was quite disappointing. Let's get right down to it. Adjusted EPS came in at 232, beating the 230 expected by the street on revenue of $29.78 billion. That was up 19% year over year, and it beat the street's expectations. They did raise their full year outlook to about $107 billion in revenue, which is above the midpoint expected by the street, with $9.55 EPS, again beating. But the Q3 revenue is what sent this down. EPS guidance came in at 245, 10 pennies below the 255 expected by analysts on revenue of $27 billion, which is kind of topping expectations. 26.1 was expected. They're blaming seasonality in the storage business as a reason for the profit concentration in Q4. How they do by their different segments, servers and networking, which is the AI focus here, $12.9 billion in revenue, up 69% year over year, driven by strong demand for their AI servers. Their storage division printed $3.86 billion in revenue. That missed expectations. Their client solutions group, which is a euphemism for their PC segment, printed $12.5 billion. That was only up 1% year over year. Their AI growth ambitions, though, continue to manifest here. Dell shipped $10 billion in AI servers over the past 2 quarters, Brendo. The company now targets $20 billion in AI server shipments for full year 2026, and they spent $1.3 billion on share buybacks and dividends.
Still well off its highs, but constructive, I guess, guys. So if you go to a weekly chart here, we're only back to 125, which is essentially the last little level of support here for Dell.
Some stuff there's a lot to
I actually like this quarter the more I hear Sharif talk about it.
It was pretty solid. This will be on the list for, look, I mean, Marvell's not there, but Marvell's down already 10%, so that's going to be, I'll look for an SSR bounce on a stock like that. But if Dell does go 10% down, like at that point we were talking about getting into this support at 120 to 121, because I think it's actually at 121-ish that it'll be at the 10% mark to the downside. So I feel like on a report like that, if you get there, that's where you look for the long. Outside of that, I mean, technically, you've got a pretty clear stair step. 127, this prior low from the 20th, is exactly where it bounced in the aftermarket. It's exactly where resistance sits in the pre-market. So it's like an over-under 127 kind of deal. And if it gets to 120, 121, then I'd look for a long on Dell. So yeah, I mean, that level stands out like a sore thumb at 127. Volume is only, I'd put volume on the okay more than the great here. So it's not the first thing I'll be looking at. I think obviously Alibaba, the name we'll talk about next, is going to move more. NVIDIA is going to move more. But this one has to be on the back burner. If we see if it gets to 127 or it gets to 121, I would trade it off of both of those levels and short the pop and then look for the reversion. It wasn't really that bad of a report. So if you like Dell, I think you just let it settle down for a couple of days. Maybe you get really lucky and it snags that 200 period moving average, which seems like a good place to buy after the report.
I just tell you guys I got it at 5%. I did two 10% tranches here and a 5% one rate here as we are back just testing VWAP again. So we're going to go short. We're going to exit out of some of our short there. We took 42s there on the way out. What about SMCI? I mean, Neil just went over some Dell numbers. I think it's down. It shouldn't be. I think it's a buy down there. So SMCI though, whoops. This name, wow. Not great off the top there. Come on, charts. Not great off the top, but just like Dell, I think it's finding a home here somewhere in and around this area. Forget about this 200 period moving average. That's not going to be right. Let me call it up on a E-signal chart where I don't have to zoom in like that. Okay, so here it is right here. So this is what I was looking for right there. You're coming into the 200 period moving average here now on SMCI. So for me, this is a good little look right into here. So on Dell weakness, again, we do have some weakness in this market today. Look, I spent some money yesterday on buying MRVL. That didn't work out. We're going to see if we can buy the dip there as well. And I think that over the last little while, you had that SMCI miss, the gap down, and now we're going to wait to see if it can hold these levels. Look, sometimes you want to get out of stock when it's high. Obviously, buy low, sell high. But not only that, it's also to raise capital so that you can find other opportunities in either same space or other space, other names. I've never actually owned SMCI shares, and I'm thinking right into here around this 200 period moving average isn't the end of the world for this name. Again, we're going to have to fuel the AI play, and that's going to have to come in the form of, again, like the cooling systems and Dell's racks and SMCI as well. I don't know enough about the technology of the two, but I like SMCI where it is technically right now. So buying around $40 seems to be good to me. And VinFast, we want to thank them for sponsoring as well. Ticker VFS. They delivered nearly 36,000 EVs in Q2 of 2025. That's marking nearly a 172% jump from last year. Their first half total, 72,000 EVs. That's up over 200% year over year. And strong sales in the second half, they are expected to get near 100,000 units right now. They're also crushing it on two-wheelers with nearly 70,000 e-scooters and bikes sold in Q2. That's up 400+% from a year ago. And with gas-powered two-wheelers, of course, being phased out of Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City that we talked about, this growth of VinFast looks potentially huge. You can find them on the Nasdaq under ticker VFS. We want to thank VinFast for their continued support of Trader TV Live. So there it is, VinFast. Go check them out. And we have Lucid News, obviously, as they go 1 for 10 as well. So that's another, not as well, but that's another story in the EV space. Tesla bouncing around off that 350 marker, getting lower here. But we go over, hey man, maybe you want to buy a car and you want to pay later. And if you want to do that and you want to pay probably a ridiculous interest rate, which I don't know what Affirm offers, but they're better than the credit cards. It's better than that. That's what gets them going. It's a different lending system. So let's go find out if Affirm got that pop that we're all looking for.
Crazy people buy groceries and stuff on it.
Yeah, Klarna.
Yeah, Sharif was actually just saying great deals from VinFast actually.
Absolutely.
On
ridiculous, Brendo, where you're looking at like 1.9%. I'm talking about Canada, but I'm sure they have it in the States as well. 1.9%, and to get the VF9, their top model, it was like $250 bi-weekly. And if you know anything about cars in Canada, you're paying a lot more than you are in the States, so that's a fantastic price.
Yeah, let's continue on. Affirm, huge move here to $94 if you zoom out. This is the highest level this has been at since all the way back here, which is January of 2022 for Affirm. So a huge move.
It looks like a crazy rounded bottom there. Yeah. Fantastic look. Let's talk about how they did, what precipitated this big up move. EPS, guys, for revenue came in at 20 pennies, well ahead of the 11 pennies expected by the street, and a sharp turnaround from the minus 14 pennies EPS they printed last year on the quarter. This came in on revenue of $876 million ahead of the $837 expected by the street, and also another 33% increase as compared to last year on their quarter, with that profitability coming in just shy of $70 million in profit. Compare that again to a $45 million loss last year. So they've shored up revenue. They shored up cost and increased revenue. Gross merchandise volume came in at 10.4 billion versus the 7.2 last year, which is a 43% bump. And they're guiding good Q1 revenue here, 855 to 885 million above the current street consensus. Their market position, their composition continues to improve. They have key partnerships now with Amazon and Shopify driving scale in e-commerce. They're also facing, though, Brendo, some possible headwinds here with growing buy now, pay later competition. Walmart's shifting to Klarna, which, as we've talked about before, is planning an IPO for later this year, possibly next year.
Gapping into space for Affirm, guys. It's been a long time since we've been up here.
Yeah, I think was it on the balances right here? Let's quickly jump in here. Affirm with a 240,000. That's not a huge sell and balance, but it was enough to make it move a little bit. Alibaba,
quarter of the volume so far.
400,000 to buy, 440 to buy there on Alibaba. So if you just saw any action in Alibaba, that could be it. Look, Affirm, 88. I think you could fill the gap in a little bit here today on Affirm, but overall, it's on a monthly chart just because you have to go that far back to see the pandemic highs. It was spectacular at the time, but then everything was, and it fell back to earth. This is breaking out on this monthly. If it gets above, if it closes above, and it seems almost like a lock that it will, above 82.5, then you've broken out on the monthly chart. So effectively, this is already happening. The chance to be able to get that prior high makes no sense here. Today, it would drop $10 if it got there and barely even be green. So I'm just simply looking at where this rounded off here at the highs in the aftermarket at 88. So if we fill in the gap, I'm expecting you can get to the $88 level here on Affirm. It's only a 7% short float, so you're not really worried about that anymore. This is not some kind of crazy squeeze name. It's a decent short float, but that's not the overall driving factor. They've got some profitability now. They were more than the expected move. I just think playing some patience on a Friday is when people take some profit off in the long weekend and waiting for it to get down a little closer to 88, where I'd be much more comfortable buying it.
All right, I just wanted to talk quickly here because we did have Webull right now delivering, and again, Affirm, good talk there. I'll see if we trade it, but I do have Webull. It's on the sticky note today, and I just had written down, and I'm not sure if it's going to play or not, but $14 is the support. Now, whether or not we get that price and go over, I just put the sticky note, I'll put it again in the chat. I want to thank everybody for getting part of the chat. Go over there and hit the like and the subscribe immediately for your first trade to be around a 50% success rate. Webull right into here. We've seen some good support on the daily for Webull in and around, well, there's when it comes in this IPO, and that was a fun day for sure. But right into here, I don't know, I guess I got to zoom in even more here to give you guys, here he goes. This is where the 50-period moving average is here on the daily chart, so we like that. And it doesn't have 200 days to talk about, so right into here, $14, pretty good, $13.50 complete bottom. Up 1%, should be up a little bit more in my opinion, so I'm going to try to trade some Webull right now. And I actually put 14, but now the fact that we're not fading out. Remember, we're writing the note, up around 8 o'clock, if not a little bit earlier. So we're waiting to, or at least looking at them, waiting for that move to happen. So if we can fade back into 14.50 or so for Webull, that's going to be a name that I'm bidding right now. So, all right, with only a minute and a half left, let's just go back over and see the story on Celsius and Pepsi, and then we'll go from there. Maybe Jake Paul's drinking some more Celsius.
Pepsi up to 11% ownership now entirely, with another 585 million going into Celsius. On its way back down here, but a huge pop this morning here pre-market.
Yeah, Brendo. Acquiring Rockstar Energy brand in the U.S. and Canada from PepsiCo is Celsius as a part of their expanding partnership. Pepsi will continue to own and operate Rockstar internationally, while Celsius will manage it in North America. Celsius will become Pepsi's lead drink partner in the U.S., overseeing Celsius, Alani Nu, and Rockstar Energy brands.
Yeah, pretty strong, guys, if you zoom out a little bit here as well for CELH. Not a terribly exciting stock, but nice look here this morning.
exciting at one point there.
But not anymore.
Yeah, it was a huge growth stock as a new entrant into the space. And now I was actually looking at Pepsi because, again, to try to diversify, we only have 30 seconds left right now, but Pepsi's been on a nice little run. It's not doing anything with volume, but I just wanted Coke and Pepsi, some nice runners there for you guys early. All right, Alibaba, we only have 30 seconds left right now. We can talk more about this. We sort of lost some time there. Alibaba's going to go out at its highs, so we got to watch out for that. With now only 20 seconds left. AMD, a possible fade. I'm sitting up here at 167.75 to see if we can get some shorts there in AMD. Alibaba, we're waiting for those dip buys. Bull, we're waiting for dip buys, and we're waiting to get more shares here on the TQQ. So today's opening bell brought to you by VinFast. Go check them out on the Nasdaq VFS, and now we are now open.
Market open.
So here we go, man. We are on the TQQ, so let's wait to see what winds up happening over there right now. We're watching out for some AMD. TQ's just dancing around. Let's see, does Baba, my guess, and Baba's actually taken off right now, so let's go.
It is higher.
Yeah, let's go. Is it breaking 130? No, 129 right now.
Bye-bye NVIDIA down.
For Alibaba and bye-bye NVIDIA down. Okay, so AMD also must be making close to a move down. We'll go find out about them. No, AMD upside a little bit.
Huh?
Yeah.
Because SMCI is, man, forget about the politics. SMCI is absolutely tanking. NVIDIA is to the downside as well. Affirm just blasted higher. Oh, we're not going to, yeah, well, obviously we're not going to get 88. If you go to 95, everybody, that's complete insanity. But Baba is the big flyer here, tagging $130 almost. It continues to go. Look, we knew this was going to be a potential great story for them. NVIDIA, look, they're making a chip to compete with NVIDIA. You know what's going to happen. Last time we had this DeepSeek nonsense, it was scare everybody. So I'm looking to short the top here. If we get one in NVIDIA, and
here we go.
Let's try and get this order in on SMCI, which is looking, SMCI is done, down 3% already.
All right, yeah, so SMCI, there goes the Nasdaq as well, so we'll hit sirens up for that. Our number one trade is on here's AMD and the TQs. We have both of these trades, and there goes the Nasdaq to the downside. We actually catch our Webull right now, so look at that move down for Webull. Not a great spread. We're going to let this one settle down, man. We do have lower bids here as well at $14 for Webull, so let's just let it calm down. We talked about this with SoFi. We've seen SoFi get sort of hit on plays like this as well. So we'll give it a little bit. We're not necessarily into it yet. We are into the short on the Qs. And Alibaba is absolutely ripping, by the way, and so now is AMD. AMD's getting real spicy now. So this is the levels that we liked, 169. So again, we're in this name now. We better get in some more right now as AMD making huge moves right now to the upside. So let's get. Is
it at 169 yet?
It almost went there, and I should have got a little bit more short, but we missed that because we were looking at stupid Webull. But yeah, right now we're going to find out. There it comes right back in now is AMD. So okay, we're fine with it, but should have got more short there, man. We nailed that price, and we didn't do much about it. So, all right, we're getting some out. It's a big day already. If this holds to the short side, it's going to be monstrous for me. So we just should have got more up there, but that's okay. Right now, here we go, Neil. We're getting ready. 167.60. It's already. Everything we have is huge in the money right now. The TQs is 15 cents, which is not huge. And Webull just went and came right back. Webull is just 55, so we got to put some orders up there and let AMD fall down, man. AMD's a monster right now.
Yeah, I'm not even in anything because NVIDIA is just only dropping like an absolute rock.
Dropping further,
anything
dog.
I wanted short has only gone down insanely off of the open here. Keep an eye on Affirm. That could get to $100 any second now. Now 23%. And apologies, we didn't get to MRVL this morning.
Oh, AMD.
But MRVL down 18%. We did talk a little bit about it at the open. I do want an SSR bounce on this name, but the first level I'm looking for underneath $65 is not till like 59. So it's just going to be any kind of a trend break on MRVL as this stock, yeah, 18% to the downside. I think it could catch a bid. It wasn't that bad of a report, but you just have to be very, very absurdly patient with this thing.
There it is, man. It's $1 right there. And again, people are saying the magic sticky note. Yeah, I don't know what else we could possibly do with this. There goes the AMD right there, 168 to 169 short. That is exactly what's playing right now. There's the 168, there's the 168.50, and there's the bang to the downside right there. So this is a monster trade. I'm upset that this is always trader dilemma, but we talk about this. I'm always upset that we don't have more shares on this play, but okay, we still have a good amount. We had 2 units there, and we were looking to get more up there, and Unfortunately, just didn't get to that one. I was at 168.75. Just took 167.75, 168.25 right there. So we're just playing it, but there it is now. It's an official Dollar Club member. So that's going to be a pretty good trade. We're really happy with that one. And then, of course, the TQs just continue to bleed as well. So we've got that trade on board right now. So we're going to go deuces right now, 2 for 2, and absolute, and Webull, whatever. We're not even worried about that right now. But AMD is really clocking lower now, man. This is a good one. You're not in the short yet, but this has been an absolutely crazy morning.
My level was 69 on AMD.
Yeah, that's me too, and it almost got there. But so I play things a little different. Like my levels were 168, right? But I started the offering there at 167.75. So sometimes I'm with you though. Off the open, it's very. That's how you lose too, right? If you don't take the right price.
Ridiculous. Okay, Affirm's gotten to the point now where I've got to think reversion on this.
That went to 160.
This is too crazy. $100 for a firm
24%.
It's only 7% short float, and $100 just the monthly chart. $100 is basically the only level on the monthly chart until you get to like 160. So. Yeah, I'm going to look for the mean revert here on Affirm. Not getting to SNCI, barring some minor miracle, or even NVIDIA just now down 2%. And Alibaba's gone absolutely ham as well. Like, Baba's trying to reverse off 130, so you can't really I'm not longing up there. There's no way I'm chasing Alibaba that far. So Affirm putting a bit of a topping tail candle in. If it breaks 100, it breaks 100. You know, that's just one of those things.
Yeah,
the stock is insane.
And we called it. We were like, is this going to be the next Mongo? Is this going to be the next
Mongo?
Whatever, Snowflake? But yeah,
I like
either
those
way.
names a little better than.
Oh, yeah, me too. I mean, they're in the right space, that's for sure. But look what's happening right now, man. I mean, Sharif just sitting down again. There's the TQQs low. That's the trade of the day right there for me. And then we also have, Sharif, look at this Dollar Club right here on AMD. As we keep on saying shout out to Queensbridge and everything, but shout out to Nas, because as it was written right here on the sticky note, there's the AMD short, there's the TQQ short, there's the Webull long. So we're in all of these right now. And so far, it's so far so good, as we have about 40% or so left here on AMD, but I need to cash something out here. Cash Cobain, you guys heard of him? He's a New York rapper. I don't know. What's your opinion on Cash Cobain, Adara?
Who? He's fine. I actually think I prefer him as a producer. Some of his beats are okay. I find that he sounds like he's asleep half the time.
Yeah, I don't love him either, but he has some sort of song called Feels or something like that. So anyways, okay, here we go. I got the Feels right now for advanced micro devices. It's a monster trade right now. 2 times daily goal. I don't know why I hit a 3 right there with my hands, but 2 times daily goal. Packers get a lot better, trading getting a lot better, the show getting a lot better, and we are here live with you every single day. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Let's go.
Yeah, oh my goodness, we went right to $100.00.
What?
On Affirm there. I mean, exactly. VWAP is here at 97. So if it holds 97, you're going to get the you-know-what out of Dodge.
What are we even doing?
But if this gets through 97, we're looking for 95. And ideally would have been long this stock, but I thought it was going down to 88 or at least dipping a little bit, but it's not. So we got to the 99 level. I took the short there, best price at 99 quarters, but let's see if we can get back underneath the volume weighted average price as the market's coming down in. I can see Affirm coming in. Just very quickly, MRVL, it did bounce, but I was looking at Affirm at the moment. So MRVL just bounced to VWAP. If it puts in a higher low, the market continued to go down. I didn't think it was that bad of a quarter. I was looking for some kind of a bounce play. If we hold the bottom, I look for a long on MRVL. But that's the, again, opinions are opinions. You can read through the report and try to tell me what you think was bad in that report for MRVL. So I want to look for some kind of a long there. Might have just missed it. So VWAP's here on Affirm. If this closes holding, I got to jump out. The stock's up 22%. I should respect it.
Dara?
What?
Alibaba here, nice push to the upside. We know they said they're going to be continuing, to invest heavily in AI. They had their earnings report, which is pretty well received. But I also want to let you guys know here that we do have coming up at 9:45 Chicago PMI. 46 is the forecast here. Previous print 47.1, so we're expecting a bit of a decline. Then at 10 a.m. we'll get the University of Michigan consumer sentiment number. So don't go anywhere, guys. We have economic data in less than 10 minutes. Back to you.
Yeah. Okay, get it, Sharif. Yeah. Okay, so here we go, man. I'm starting to cash out already. Like it's 2:30 and 2:38, 9:38 right now, and we're able to basically wrap it up right now and start a long weekend. So if that's you, man, congratulations if you have this AMD short. It's now $2 in and still going. And then not only that, we also pushed the pipe here on TQQs. Like, this was a great look early. It's too bad that we didn't reload it right there, but the market was just opening up, and obviously we shorted our #1 trade idea with AMD. So there it goes. Wow, AMD we are now 3 times our daily goal right now. What a way to end the month, man. It's going to be one of the biggest months of my career, and here we go, man. It's happening right now again. So congratulations to everybody that's having this kind of a month right now. We come back. We even took some days off this month, which is crazy. We weren't even here like every Friday pretty much, but here comes AMD. Nice move back in again, and we are getting lighter and lighter on these plays. So there it goes. Again, I hope you guys are having a good time. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. It's Trader TV Live. We're doing it every day, man. The TQs, Neil. And Sharif, what did I say when I first sat down here? I know you have 2. He's eating. I said, I'm feeling weak. I'm feeling like this market is heavy today. I said, I turned over to Sharif and Neil. I was like, crypto's down. All these space, the chips names are down. We got Chinese news. That can't be good. And then all of a sudden, bang. The very first name I write down is AMD. The second one we write down are the futures. And there it goes, man. Boom goes the dynamite right here. And it's a monster here. And we're just happy to be able to do this and to be able to have this on right now. So it's Webull, TQs, and AMD. So there it is. That's my story today.
The short is 100% the play, but the only name I shorted was actually a long stock I wanted long. You got to be able to find it.
Yeah, oh yeah.
You know, NVIDIA came straight to the downside. That never even went up. NVIDIA's now down 3%, by the way. Affirm did bounce off VWAP, so it went 100 down to 97 and held VWAP the first time. It's now starting to break through and get a lot lower, a lot lower. The only name that's sort of sitting here, well, I mean, it's not good. Look, I'm not going to sit here and tell you anything great about MRVL, but when I'm talking about looking for something for the long side, it's not always about what you think is the positive story. They're down after earnings. It's just a gimmick SSR type bounce play. It's trying to put in the higher low as we speak.
Oh boy.
The current low sits at about $63. So it's trending down into that low. We'll see if we can pick it up. Alibaba, we wanted long. It's for the first time looking like it might pull back into VWAP 125. I don't know if we get a chance to see that. VWAP sits at 127, so we'll have to wait for it. Affirm, we went the other direction because that was the only choice available.
Right, yeah.
I was never buying it at $100. There was just no chance. There is NVIDIA. It flat bottom broke. It continues to go down now, $174. I'm not chasing this move. You're a little too close. You're a little too close to some support down here.
Too close for comfort, man.
To where you look for a reversion. And like yesterday we waited for a nice reversion to catch the bottom because we weren't short NVIDIA. I'll do the exact same thing here. Pop it to a 1-minute chart because when we're falling this fast, I like to use a 1 minute and see if we can't get a trend break on NVIDIA just for a scalp. Just for a scalp to VWAP.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Yeah, I'm just doing what we do right here. So we're I don't know. I was looking for AMD here. We've already posted it up. You know, hit the like, hit the subscribe again. I keep saying that, but you guys should do that. Let me see how many people are actually watching right now. This is trading. Honestly, this is what we're doing every day here. 822 likes. Get that going a little bit. 9,300 of you watching. We're gonna go. I mean, we're gonna wait for Webull here, but we're gonna go 3 for 3 right now today, and they're all pretty huge. So, congratulations to everybody that has something here. But it looks like AMD is trying to find a bottom. So I wanted to. Unfortunately, I got to edit these wicks out here. I don't know what was up with this. I'll definitely get out of that in just a couple seconds. But where are there some buy zones? I think we're at it right now, right? 165.30, 165.40. Some of these little bottom areas, we touch down at the 26, we touch down there. If we do break 165, then we've got, oh boy, it's happening. I mean, this is, again, like, I get emotional all the time, but honestly, like, you know, controlling your emotions, just doing the right trades, doing the work. And I think this is what matters, right? It's about putting in that work and getting those the levels that you want, and you know, trading, putting in time, putting in screen time, and it's all paying out right now. So there it goes, man. Huge move right now into the downside. We've tripled what we made yesterday on, doubled what we made yesterday on AMD down here. So I just took out a little bit more. So right now, I'm just trying to do the math here, 50, 30. We have about 15% left. So there it is. Thank you so much to Darwin and everybody there with your nice comments about the trades. It does mean a lot. We're now $3 in the money on AMD, and we're $1 now in the money on the TQQs. So it's just like when it's really good, Neil, when your bias is there, you write it down and you take the trades even when they're not set up. Like our TQ didn't get there, but we tried it, and we took the TQQs, Neil, early.
And that's the thing, like if you
right there, like on that
PC have any
number.
style you want. Like if it sets up, if it doesn't set up. Me, I'm like if I don't see it, I can't do it. But you have to. Bias to me only gets you.
No adopting you guys.
It only gets you so far, because admittedly, like I was biased to the long side on Affirm, and maybe that's why we're out. I can also tell you my VWAP was dead wrong. I had to restart my chart. So when I said Affirm was at VWAP at 97, one of my charts had bad data. It was not the volume weighted average price at 97. The volume weighted average price is at 95, and it did bounce off 95 and continues to go to the downside. So I had to restart one of my charts. It was missing some data from the open, so it had VWAP at the wrong price. It's only now at the volume weighted average price. Let's go to Adara.
Chicago PMI coming out here. We got a print of 41.5 for Chicago PMI. So that is below estimates of 46 and the previous print of 47.1. Again, much lower than expected. Chicago PMI 41.5 here versus 46 expected and the previous print of 47.1. So market continuing to drop on this lower than expected Chicago PMI print. Now, again, at 10 a.m., we will get University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment. That is usually one of the more closely watched numbers. It also comes with an inflation print, which is the 1-year and 5-year inflation expectation. Fed's Cook's hearing as well is set for 10 a.m. Unsure if that's going to be streamed, but I'll be following any news either way. Back to you.
Man, we are at 165 right now. Thank you, Adara, for that. Chicago PMI 41 versus 46. Ciao, Bella. As we continue to go to the downside right now. Wow, we are now $1 and change now in the money here on the TQs. We are now like yesterday, we had $14 winner. At this point, it was only $7 or $8 on Tesla. But right now, there's AMD, man. And like we said, you know, you gotta have that look, have those ideas in line, and just go for them, man. And that's exactly what we did there. And this is the market, in my opinion, to kind of do that. This is why I don't have like the full amount of shares, because we were waiting for that ultimate top of 169 right there. But what else are we supposed to do? We nailed the downside today with the futures. We nailed the right segment here with the chips names, and that's about it. I knew I wouldn't trade anything else. This is what we do. We trade 2 or 3 names every day. We just find them and we go for them, and it's really been pay dirt so far. So yeah, good so far. But this Webull is not good. This is down to 14. I'm going to try one more. It's such a small amount of shares right here, but you never want to lose on them. But I'm going to put the stop in on a break of 14. So I was actually going to go a little bit lower than that and go into 1375. But now that we've got this bottom wick right there, we'll take one more fill, and then we'll just do this, 1397. We'll do stop. So if it comes back in, we'll get stopped out there. It will be our one losing trade today. But what are we supposed to do, man? $4 here, $1.50 here. Trading is here, and it's great. And you know, again, let's go. Let's keep on getting to the downside and see if we can get a bounce on Webull. But other than that, man, consumer sentiment's coming out at 10 o'clock. These numbers do not look good so far, and we are really running the table right now. AMD, look where AMD is, man. I mean, this has been a huge move down. So I don't know. Just congratulations to everybody with these trades. I'm in. Neil's going to look to get into something, but so far so good here as we go 3 for 3 today.
I mean, the only thing it set up was that Affirm, and I'm not setting that one up again, but MRVL is trying to hold on to trend. We like this one for an SSR bounce, so if it can hold on to the trend line, I might take a shot just very, very quickly on a hold and the pull back into the volume-weighted average price. If it breaks down, we can always play this in both directions. But let's be real. When the market's moving like this, or in any market in general, you want to be able to take advantage of those moves. And if you're a sophisticated Canadian trader, then BetaPro by Globex has just launched 6 new triple leveraged ETFs. They're going to give you 3x bull, 3x bear exposure to the S&P TSX 60, semis, and U.S. Treasuries. And better than that, they're offering a special fee rebate, dropping management fees to just 65 basis points until December 31st. Those ETFs also employ currency hedging to seek to neutralize the U.S. dollar exposure, providing performance that may more accurately reflect the underlying U.S. equity indices. If you're a tactical, sophisticated trader looking to amplify your performance, check out betapro.ca 3x daily to learn more. And make sure you check that perspectives. And remember, when you're trading leveraged ETFs, they're a trade. They're not an investment. Decay is going to kill you. Or going to hurt you. It's not going to kill you. It's going to hurt you.
Yeah, it can kill you.
If you try to.
No,
it can kill the position. If you try to hold on.
And hopefully you don't.
A little bit too much. But hopefully you don't do that. All right. Looks to me like MRVL, not Affirm. MRVL holding on to this trend. 64.4 looks like the local bottom in here. If it breaks down, I think, let me just make sure. I think we have locates on this. I don't see any reason why we wouldn't. If we lose VWAP here and break down on the trend line, I'm going to look for the short in MRVL. I know I like the long for the bounce. We didn't get that. I didn't like the short for Affirm, but we had to take that because that's what's set up. It's the same thing here if we break trend line on Affirm. There's a 3-minute and just kind of connect the dots from these higher lows that it's put in. So if it breaks underneath, I go short. If it does not, I don't do anything. And Affirm's now heading back to the upside, so it doesn't seem like it wants to get to 88. I thought if we lose the bid, you can at least get down into the early 90s. Affirm might turn into a long trade after all for me if we can catch this one holding above the volume weighted average price. So it's really just MRVL and Affirm that are on my radar because not really seeing anything that's setting up too well in here outside of those two. And I know everyone's like, I know there's a little bit of a delay, and we're working on maybe changing that for you guys here. But we're still something that we should be always doing because I've seen a lot of names that in the chat that maybe I haven't been paying attention to. So we're just going to quickly do this. And some people are doing it where they're typing $ and then the ticker. Remember, if you type a name in the chat, like I just saw BBAI and SMX, you've got to do the $. That way we know which symbols you're interested in, and we don't have to always monitor the chat. We can look at our level 2s. I can go back to this site. Like I can go in there and say $ Gap, let's just say, because they reported and we haven't really done anything with them. HL, Open, and so this is what we need from everybody here. So Open Door, IREN, Gap, that was me, Alibaba. Makes it easier for us to follow along for you guys and make sure that we're paying attention to what you guys are interested in. That's what we want to do around here for sure. So yeah, I mean, obviously Open Door doesn't care what the market in a general sense is doing. This one's squeezing back to the upside. And when I say squeezing, sometimes when the market's down, these are the only squeeze pays you can have. I tend to think, we talked about this yesterday, the $5 level and the 520 a couple of days ago. Actually, it was 2 days ago. I think those are fade zones on Open. I didn't think we were getting there. Specifically, it was the 525 level. We're now 30 cents away from that on Open. This, I'm pretty sure I do have to pay for locates, though.
All right, yeah, people are starting to pump in the chat there, and thank you, everybody, for joining us one more time there. The Nasdaq down 1% today as we continue to get a little bit lower here in the broader markets. Nasdaq down, ES down, everything seems to be just a little down right now today, down in the dumps, and this is what it looks like right here. And this is part of the problem. Every time I call this up, it's like this side is really leading the whole market because we talked about this yesterday. 34% of the S&P 500 is Mag 7. So when you see the market in the Nasdaq, especially, obviously it's way greater than the Nasdaq, but that's with the S&P. So right now you get a nice move down. Oracle, what's going on with that? Down 3% today, obviously on weakness in Dell there, SMCI weakness. NVIDIA, come on, man. I mean, we called these plays. So far so good. We're happy with them. Berkshire, though, and the financials upside. So you got to have different exposure, right? We talked about yesterday how the financials were starting to lead. And I even brought to your attention that XLF was at all-time highs 2 days ago and continued higher yesterday. Berkshire today, JP Morgan, American Express, Goldman and Schwab, both these names that I also like, still heading to the downside today. Coinbase down 1.2%. I don't know if they should be in finance, but maybe right there. I don't know if they should be more in technology. I don't know.
I don't know where you put them to be.
Yeah, me neither, but and, you know, we know that retail, we know all these names belong in retail, although Amazon, I guess you could question that. Amazon getting kicked a little bit with the tech trade today, but it's Walmart and Costco. Those are the two names that we've focused on a lot here. Home Depot off earnings. What's up, Fabian, as well. How were the Pixies? Did you wind up going to see them eventually? They were fun. Good. Okay, good. Good. They're old? Yeah, you never realize how old some of these artists are until you see them in person, I guess, right? Okay, so anyways, this is what we're doing, man. We're just covering a little bit of stock here. We could look, a name that we traded yesterday that absolutely crushed. We were great on this trade yesterday was Tesla, 352 short. And then there's the move up for Tesla today. And if you had 350 in mind, you had a big win right now because that is starting to come back in a little bit here for Tesla off that 350 marker. Check in on Webull. I mean, I wish there was more happening on this name than there could be. Let's go back up to the upside right now and see, but it's now 9 cents out of the money there. So we are nervous hands on that one. No, we're not, just joking. 9,000 of you watching, 1,000 likes. Get that going. Let's get going on that one, chat. I may just exit out of some Webull here. If we can get 20, 25s, let's just do that and call it a loss for now and see if it gets back up to the upside. I'm going to take out 25% of Webull right here.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, Webull didn't do anything.
It's not going.
It didn't do anything off their earnings except like fade back in. But I'm reminded about SoFi, which we'll get to in a second. What SoFi did on its earnings could be instructive for Webull here. Trend break on Affirm. First it was down. Well, first it was up, then it was down, and now it's kind of breaking the trend above the volume weighted average price. If we lose VWAP, which is sitting at about 96, that's the out for me. Just going to get my stop order in there because we don't want to raw dog it, as you like to say, which I think is a good term. Now, you want to make sure you have a bit of an out. But what I wanted to get to with SoFi with regard to Webull is if you remember SoFi on earnings, ran not in the aftermarket, but in the morning, and then gave up the move, held prior support, and then did that for a couple of days, and then got going to the upside. And I know it's not the same thing here for Webull, but I don't wonder if it doesn't have a similar trajectory. There is your bottom at 14. As long as it holds that today, and not tomorrow, Tuesday, I guess would be the next day of trade, I think you're good to go off this 50-period moving average. Because like this is what SoFi did. Everyone's like, oh no, why is SoFi going down? And Webull, same thing. Up, down, hold 14. If anything, this might actually be a bit of. I might take. I don't know. I'm going to stick probably trying to get this long in Affirm because I know that's what I wanted originally.
Yeah.
And that did not break VWAP.
Do it, Neil. Do it.
My VWAP is moving around. It's different on one chart than another.
Yeah, just use the signal one. Okay, so we did get out of some Webull there as it did pop back up into the 20s. So we did get out of actually got out of a third of it, not a quarter. So we get out of a little bit more of Webull than we had hoped for, than I had told you initially. But now I'm at 25s and 35s. I just want to get out of this. If it starts to rip up, fine. We'll try to hold half. But again, out of a third. We'll see if we can get out of it about 10% more up here in the mid 20s, into the 30s. I like the stock. It's Webull. It's starting to go, hopefully upside. But what's starting to go back down is, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. There goes AMD again. And I mean, it's just like I said, when things are working right now. We're having quite a nice morning. And I hope you guys are enjoying the stream as well. It's about to get a lot better as we go over to Adara.
DAL dropping here. Delta reportedly agreeing to pay $79 million after a plane dumped thousands of gallons of fuel over homes and schools in California during an emergency. So DAL on watch here. Back to you.
$4 in on AMD DAL. Yeah, that doesn't sound very good. So we can have a quick check there on Delta to see what's going on there. You shouldn't be dropping things on pedestrians.
You have to dump fuel in an emergency. I just don't know what the normal protocol is.
Yeah, so they're probably in stock.
You're supposed to.
We'll get some more.
You have to.
She's going to get some more context on this. But
if it exists, I'll get it to you guys if there's more context. I'm just seeing like this ruling or whatever, so we'll see.
Yeah, it's okay. It's all good. And that's, to Neil's point, I mean, it's going to have to be something, probably punitive damages or something like that, paying for, I don't know, whatever. Homes got damaged.
I mean, it's insurance.
Yeah, I don't think it's a big deal. And Delta right now not really reacting, but what a move that the airlines have had. I mean, wow, straight fire right there as people look to spend more money by traveling and internationally. I think it's getting a little bit better out there. So we'll wait. I hope so. We'll wait to see if Delta and the rest of the airlines can get going. I've never bought an airline stock, so I don't know much about that space, but
they should be utilities.
Yeah, we had Pacifino Gold on yesterday in the after hours. That was a fun time, and I just heard in my ear that gold right now is nice upside. What's up to Gold member and a Canadian treasure Mike Myers right there with Beyonce coming through on Austin Powers. But there it goes right there. GLD, what a nice move on gold over the last couple weeks, right? I mean, I guess it was just the last week, bottoming out there. So just like all other asset classes right here, gold continues to move up. Neil, how much do you think gold is up this year to date?
Oh, I couldn't even guess.
You're going to have to guess.
47%.
Yeah, so the S at 47, no, yeah, half of that. But so it's 23%.
Well, I always guess high because you're asking me, so I'm like, it's going to be higher than I think.
Yeah, so 47, no, that would be quite incredible, but not bad. I had no, I only looked it up because of yesterday we had the guy on, Pasifino Gold, but S&P 500 is 13%. Gold, I guess with the move up today, I don't know, maybe yesterday was a little depressed, but about 20-something%. So there is space available in everybody's portfolio for all of that. I mean, look what's happening with the Nasdaq right now. This is a name, this is again, and I'm going to keep going over it because what we're doing here is for free. And we're putting these things out. I'm putting this out every single day, the sticky note, and writing down trades that I'm going to be taking. Well, there's AMD is $4 in the money off of this exact level. TQQs, as to Neil's point, it didn't get to 92 short. But I wanted the short today, so I took the short there. You know, not every time am I going to write down magically all the exact levels that are going to fill, right? So we actually took this at 8:30. So we should have taken it there as well. But like, you know, again, to Neil's point, it's like if it goes up to 92, then I'm going to be mad because I was like, why did I double fill myself there? But instead, we roll with what we have right there on the futures. And with that being said, we are at a nice level. I think I'm going to take some profits down here as well on the Nasdaq. So let's just bid that out. And there it is. We get it. Now the numbers are now out. Let's go over to Adair. Michigan sentiment is now out.
Yeah, let's get these numbers here. University of Michigan consumer sentiment finals. Mine are still populating, it looks like, so give me a second there. I do apologize. But yeah, we know that we did get that lower than expected Chicago PMI print. Okay, we have the numbers now. 58.2, a little bit lower here than the consensus of 58.6. 3.5% here is the 5-year inflation expectation. Looks like that's lower than the consensus of 3.9%. And the 1-year inflation expectation, 4.8%, slightly lower than the consensus here of 4.9%. So both the 5-year and 1-year inflation estimates a little bit lower than we were expecting. Furthermore, we did have, again, that slightly lower than expected consumer sentiment print. So it's a pretty mixed number here for the University of Michigan. Let's take a look here at Alibaba, BABA on watch. They did have earnings missing on EPS, beating on sales. But the bigger story here was that the Wall Street Journal reported that the company is developing a new chip or has developed a new chip for AI. This story sent NVIDIA to the downside this morning. Then we had Dell, DELL, one of many, many earnings names on watch today. They did have a double beat, but their guidance for Q3 is a little bit more mixed. Back to you. Make sure to like and subscribe if you're enjoying the content. Also be aware, 10 a.m., so starting right now, we're supposed to have Fed's Cook's first hearing with regards to the Trump removal attempt. If there's any updates there, I'll let you know. Back to you.
Wow.
That's just absolute drama. It's just a soap opera at this particular point. It is a little chilly. I'm going to put my sweater on in a second.
I can't feel my face when I'm with you.
Dell's earnings weren't all that bad, ultimately, but I think you're going to have to sit this one. We always talk about the 2 or 3 day rule. It went 10%. It did get 10% down, and is now busting the volume weighted average price. So Dell, the buyers have come in, and they do seem to like it. You already mentioned Alibaba going absolutely ham. Affirm was probably the strongest percentage move to the upside. It did look. It eventually broke VWAP, so I would have been out of it anyways. That was long at 96.5. It eventually broke the volume weighted average price. So really, just maybe saved myself 20 pennies on Alibaba there, but I've now fixed my other chart, so it doesn't really matter. But it's holding this breakout price on Affirm. Only a 7% short float. I don't like the lower highs that it's putting in here for the long trade, and ultimately the short has ended up better unless you bought it right at 9:30 or just at like 9:31 or so. The short has been better on the stock. So I want to see it start to make another set of higher lows, maybe break out this little wedge that is forming before we try to get this one to the long side. But yeah, good recoveries on Dell, good recoveries on MRVL. And we asked you guys what names you were interested in, and the top of the list is still Open Door. Yeah. So in a tanking market, we said before, in a tanking market, sometimes it's a small cap name, sometimes it's a squeeze type name that's going to give you the long opportunity. I would venture to say Alibaba's giving you one as well if you're interested. But I'm not chasing it up here. We liked 125. That stock went nowhere near $125 at the open. But from 5 to 525, I think this is a fade at those prices. So we don't have to pay for locates. It's actually free on Open Door. So it's pretty close, but it's not there just yet. But I think this stock is a fade. So if it breaks trend up here, fine. Otherwise, I wait for $5.
$5, that's how much we've got in the money right now on AMD, as Joseph and I both can't feel our hands, and I'm sure Neil probably the same way. It is cold in here. I may get up and get another coffee in just a couple seconds.
There it's freezing.
Well, there's in a completely different spot.
No, but usually it's colder at the desk.
I don't know.
Truthfully, I'm actually up here with an ice cap, and I'm warm. So I don't know. Maybe it's just because the lighting. I don't know.
I mean, Adara is built differently than us, as we know.
Winnipeg.
So no doubt about that. Shout out to Winnipeg and servers that they could improve on. We talked about that when we went out to Earl's the other day. As
I mean, like there's
very, very, very questionable.
There's poor and there's like the worst ever.
Yeah, that's not the worst ever.
Yeah, it was very poor.
No, I mean somebody. Fine. So now we've got it from like he was good to fine.
So maybe he was still like a different standard in Winnipeg. I don't know. I thought he was perfectly acceptable. He was cool. We had a good conversation about Winnipeg. I'm definitely biased.
Yeah, I'd say you're biased for sure because anybody that is in the server business, do you, after people have been there for an hour and a half, do you ask for a second round of drinks?
No, not that. It's to me. It's
by the way, AMD.
You take everybody's order. That's
yeah. The guy was shady at best.
No,
okay.
Two of us didn't order until like half an hour later.
There you go. So I mean, I'm just telling like it is, man. I mean, that's all we do around here. And right now we are $7 in the money right now, and people, I don't know, it's a trading show. I've got the trades on, so we've got some entertainment this morning, I think. We've had some great laughs here today. We've had some great trading. Neil's in Open Door, which is the lead there, and we are leading the way here with these trades. So AMD, TQs, and we just wait for Webull, and let's go for something else right now. Let's have a quick check on Intel. We had that move up there, HK Hynix today. There was a report there that it was going to maybe be harder to sell some of these chips into China and whatnot. So yeah, Intel downside right there because we just look at the U.S. strength here for Intel, and we know that the U.S. government has come in and taken that 10% stake. So we'll have to wait to see what Intel. Wow. Holy man, we are really elevating now. These trades are just starting to get honestly, I don't just really happy with the way some of these have been working. I don't really know what else to say. I mean, it's a trading show. I have these 3 trades on, and they're absolutely monsters, and they were given to you guys. So I think I'm accomplishing exactly the role that I was put here for, hopefully anyways. And then there it goes, man. The trading is here with these 2 names. We just looked at Intel. I don't know. I'm trying to find like some other areas. We talked about Costco, looking to dip by maybe some love here for Costco. So if the market gets really bad. I got the email from my account. We got filled at 64.11 on MRVL, but I have not looked at MRVL today, so I don't know, have no idea.
71.
71, that'd be great if it was at 71.
No.
Oh, 64.71, yeah. Okay, so we got long down there at $64. I guess it did get a little bit lower than that off the open, so I'm not even sure what price. Oh, I must have got filled on the way down. Yeah, so I was bidding 64. So anyways, at the end of the day, we averaged in to our position here on MRVL on what was not the greatest quarter. I would have liked to see a little bit of a stronger guide. They did talk about market center data, market centers being lower than expected, data center revenue, sorry. So that was not good. And the futures obviously taking a fall down, but we've made enough trades here today to not really worry about what we did in MRVL yesterday. So all good right now, and the market continues. $6 now on AMD and $250 on the Nasdaq as we called this move as soon as we sat down. So there it is all afternoon. We'll see if they can continue to bleed here into the afternoon, as the morning's been one of these type of days so far. So, okay, Oklo. Yeah, we can look at Oklo. We can look at Baba again. Neil's on
Tesla
Open Door.
Is apparently really popular still, and so is that Nuke stock. Just for everyone looking at Nuke, just for simple open, you know the deal. I'm going to get VWAP. That's where our bids are always going to be there. No, Nuke is giving up the ghost as well. 28% still to the upside, but your best shot was right at 930 or in the pre-market. Any stock that makes its high in the pre-market and fails that, on a gap up when it loses VWAP. I promise you, Sharif's not going to be looking at this name because that's part of his plan, but I tend to agree with that as well. Like, you're on the back end of the trade very firmly here, so you're looking for $4 to $4.50. Maybe you can catch some kind of a bid. But that also looks like it's a bit of a short. And I would feel the same thing if open were to completely break down, but I'm not really thinking that. Like, I'm thinking this is on the front end, so get out in front of the volume weighted average price. On open, my stop now moves to just under break even instead of the prior bar because it's already moved down halfway to the volume weighted average price. Let's go to Adara at the desk.
I just want to let you guys know, it looks like this Fed's Cook meeting has begun the hearing with regards to if they can block the temporary restraining order and allow Fed's Cook to remain, I guess, in work while this Trump case proceeds. Basically what happens here is CNBC is reporting apparently she can retain access to her office and devices. That's according, again, to a report from CNBC. But again, it looks like this meeting's still happening. So if I get any other updates or more details beyond that, I'll let you know. But it is worth noting, we know this is market related because of the Fed independence issues. So if I get more updates from the Fed's Cook hearing, I, of course, will let you know. Back to you.
Yeah, I mean, the saga continues, Wu-Tang, but I don't really know, what to expect anymore from all of this. I mean, we'd like to have Fed independence. We would like this have not have happened, but I'm just going to let
it's happening, though.
The judicial system play out. I don't think there's anything else we could do. Just trust.
All that matters is we're getting the cut.
It's we definitely.
It doesn't matter in the short term for the actions of the Fed. It might matter in terms of how many cuts you get in next year, but I don't think this matters for this year at the end of the day. Like, we're probably still at 85% because I don't think the number should have changed anything for us. But look, the market's obviously bleeding, as you can see. Like, Sean's got it, the market's down. We're getting a bit of rotation again, it seems. Because I don't know what your Costco is doing, but Walmart's green on the day.
Yeah,
and I feel like when this is happening, like, it's like the drill, everybody. They're selling everything that we love, and they're buying crap they're buying things like I didn't mean to say crap with Pepsi. Pepsi, Procter, like Walmart, defensive name. This rotation. Exactly. It's the first word that came to my mind, and it didn't mean bad. It was just like it was a figure of speech.
Sounded like it meant kind of bad.
No, it's a figure of speech. Does anyone they're buying some stuff, they're buying some ish, and then I said crap. I used to own Pepsi shares.
Yeah, you used to like Pepsi, didn't you?
Yeah, I used to like Pepsi, and then
we had that friend that used to work there.
Well,
that was a long time ago, wasn't it?
We had a friend that worked there. We had a friend that worked at TD Bank.
Oh, well, we're not saying that story.
No, I'm just simply saying if the timing of when, anyways. And I own both those stocks at the timing.
TD Bank is doing well.
Time of when they went and then when they left. And both the stocks went up after they left, and we never let them hear the end of it. But Open Door just got to the volume weighted average price. I guess the market going down isn't going to save this one. It makes some sense here to hold on to the prior pre-market breakout price at 460. That's sort of an obvious level here as, it shouldn't matter too much on a squeeze name what the market is doing, but sometimes you just fall so far that it doesn't matter. Like, it drags everything down with it. Mm-hmm. I would strongly suggest, I bet you gold is having a really good day. Like, forget about, I just went to Pepsi for some reason. And the first thing that came to mind was like, what's Walmart doing? What's Pepsi doing? But let's be real. GLD to the upside. Silver. Silver's probably crushing it as well. I would imagine. Silver's chart looks really, really good in the higher time frame. No, that's disappointing. Only okay.
Yeah, silver didn't make the same turn.
Okay. No. It hasn't even broken out the top yet? Are you kidding me? Silver hasn't broken out yet?
What's up with this question?
That's nonsense.
Where did we get this question from, by the way?
Probably Fabian, I guess.
Yeah, no, but where? Why is this question in there? Was it in the chat, Andre, or what? Oh, it's the chat. Okay. Yeah, Neil and I could talk about this because this is something that's pretty interesting. I don't really even understand before we get going here, we're 650 in the money on AMD, and it is completely falling all over itself. Unfortunately, we only have 5% left as we exited the clip on pretty much everything right now. We had sort of done the due diligence here on advanced micro devices, and not only did we say this fade and this fall down was going to be imminent today, hard to predict those things, but we were looking at this level right here of 64.50, 65 right there on advanced micro devices. And I say this all the time. We came in yesterday with AMD as the #1 trade on the sticky note. We came in the day before with AMD on the sticky note. We came in today with it on there, and it was all 3 days. It was my #1 stock. So I think that just goes to show it doesn't whatever you're, like Neil said, be obsessed with a certain stock. Like if a firm is on your radar, trade it. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. We've had days here where I've been like, I want to go short on XYZ, and it didn't work out, and we take the hit, right? You just got to make sure that your hits are equal to your wins, if not, hopefully a little bit less. You want to have higher wins than your hits, but some days that won't happen, right? I'll check with you guys, and maybe we could all do it, but I'll check to see how many days I was up versus down this month, because I think that's somewhat important. Okay, is my ability to trade dependent on others? I'm having a hard time understanding what exactly that means. But I'm going to say no, because I come in here completely alone with my thoughts and just start writing them down based on what I've seen. But the thing is that when you're talking about dependent on others, it's dependent on the market and what winds up happening in the market. So that's why I'm going to say no. I'm more a slave to the market themselves, not to others. But, and I think I've always sort of been that way. I don't really listen to, I'm kind of the other way around than other traders around here. I know Neil's big into, reading trading books, and I know Joe Sharif talks about it all the time.
The only trading book I recommend isn't a trading book. I've only ever read one book, and it is literally not a trading book. That couldn't be further from the truth. I've read a couple of trading books. No, but what
I was getting at was everyone's going to have their own thing, and what I'm saying is I just use my own examples from my real life. Like I don't, and it's good. I respect that more that you don't take it from books. But
I just think as a trader, you're always your ability to get better comes down to evaluating your decisions that you make. And so the book I recommend is literally about evaluating your own decisions, right? Thinking in bets, because it's written by a poker player, and poker players, like traders, have to evaluate the decisions based on the circumstances in that moment and not based on what happens. Otherwise, every single time you get rivered, you can be like, oh man, was that a bad play? No, probably not. You probably got it in good. So as long as you get it in good, you don't worry about it. But in terms of I don't think dependent's not the right word. Right. Because I don't think any trader is going to be dependent. You got to hit your own keys at the end of the day. Even when you invest, you got to do it yourself. The question becomes what's your do you gain from learning tips from others? Do you gain from engaging in discussion from others? Or if I don't know a sector, do I ask the right questions about it so I can learn a bit more? Or maybe I'll get a perspective. Hey, were you watching this when this happened? And then I get to, okay, this is what happened at that price level, and it might help me in a trade down the line. I believe firmly in that. Especially if I miss a day and a key price is there, and I'm like, hey, Sean, what happened on Apple at $180 yesterday when I wasn't here? Right. And they'd be like, oh, well, there was a buyer there and blah, blah, blah. And maybe that might help me the next day. So I don't think that's dependent. I think that's just being willing to take in information. And the information that we're taking in is the market's going down.
I did read one good trade.
Oh, we didn't get to Tesla.
I didn't read it. I listened to it.
Oh, the
One Good Trade by...
Yeah, that's... I never pronounce his name right, to be honest.
Mike Bellafiore.
Yeah, it's Bellafiore, and it's because in my head I start wanting to say Belfort because obviously.
But then again, these guys, they're selling things, they're getting people to join them up, and it is what it is. Everybody has their own thing. Here at Trader TV Live, we are doing it for free live and every single day and showing you our active trades. It's one thing to have somebody come on here and say, I made $10,000 yesterday, and then you say, well, how? Well, let me just film this video for you that I'll make after the fact. And it's just we're showing you live, and although we don't show P&L, Neil and I, and to this point, obviously you can see we trade completely different. We have completely different P&Ls, and that's the whole thing about, even though we're sitting beside each other, taking our own trades and our own ideas, and the proof is in the pudding. You can see the success rates, and this is what we have every single day. We're showing you our trades, so you guys can write them down, learn from us and all that, and ask us any questions you want in the chat. That's the whole purpose of what we're trying to do. So all right, 10:17, still real early, man. Real early right now. Okay, so I did want to check back in MRVL. Are we taking out those lows yet? No, so that low right now, 63.20. So wow, pretty bad. This is actually where we first bought MRVL back in the day, 64.50s. We went up to $85 or so right there off their past earnings call. Yeah, 85 was the top. We talked about getting some out around there, but we put it right back in again last night, and yeah, whoops, right there to the downside. So MRVL is going to be a wash for me in my history of trading this name. And again, it's in the longer term spot, but that data center warning was not great, and that's the same thing that NVIDIA said. So we look for some more strength there. Okay, the only red stock that I have today is going to be Webull. We'll go 2 for 3 on the green side, way more green, obviously, because we have AMD and the TQs. But Webull does give it up. We were able to get out of some there, and we talked about getting out of a third. So we get out of something there for flat off the average in, and then we wind up losing that 20 cents as we get out. Actually, I don't know why we got a better price than what we got there. On Webull, we got like 14.02. You guys saw me put the stop in, was below 4. So what I think happened is it might have went through 14 and then just like, I don't know, something happened on the way back up and boosh, got me out there, but I don't know. So I got a better price on the break there. So slooshy.
No, sploosh. Archer.
Is it an Archer thing? Okay.
You'd love Archer if you got a chance.
Yeah, I know. I started watching Baxter. Used to watch it, and I didn't. And I didn't get into Rick and Morty either.
I knew, and Baxter probably loves Rick and Morty.
Well, because we one time got him. My mother, he forgot. We were up at a cottage, and he forgot his swim trunks, and my mom stopped at Walmart and got him one, and it had Pickle Rick on it.
I was wondering where that was going.
And I was like, what the hell? Why would you get like? Who actually makes bathing suits with pickles on them? And then I realized that it was exactly that.
I had the guy that made Anatomy Park somewhere, and I don't know what happened to it.
All right, yeah.
I lost it when we moved desk. Just very quickly, well, we usually talk about the plan, but in case, look, I'm out of Open Door, and this again goes to different styles. Ooh, where'd my chat go? There you are. Don't hide from me. Ultimately, one of the things I love about trading is you can go back and look at strategies and try to figure out what works for you. And I like trend breaks because they work on multiple time frames. They work for swing trading, they work for day trading, all that kind of a thing. But Open, very, very clear. 3-minute trend line. It didn't get to 5 to 525. Like that's a level. Like that's an area of resistance, right? So if it gets there, I short it because it's a level. But if it's not there, then I need some kind of a setup, which is where I'm getting in, prior bar, where I'm getting out, so risk of a tiny one, risk 5 pennies. I want to make sure I'm scaling out in front of the volume weighted average price. At minimum, get more than halfway out there at VWAP, because that's a big trend. And then look, that morning breakout, that morning support, if I see it support again, I'm out. I see it support again, I'm out. That simple. Now, do I want it here at VWAP? I don't know. And I have to answer this question to Cardur in the chat. How was a black-ended tilapia? I didn't enjoy it yesterday. I'll leave it at that. Everyone can have their own judgment. I know Joe didn't even eat it. The dude just had shawarma instead. So I think he made the absolute right call. It was 1,000% the right call. So Open Door is still up 9% in a bleeding market. At the end of the day, it still has a chance to go, but the trade ended up being the short the same way on Affirm. Like this one came all the way back, all the way back. If you don't get that opening move, sometimes you have to just kind of take the other direction because it's not going to leave you. You don't want to chase the move to the upside always and buy those tops on a Friday. Now let's get an idea of what the small cappers that aren't Open Door are doing. Although I guess it's over 2 billion, so it doesn't count. I call it a small capper. How are the others, Adara?
I mean, honestly, Neil, I put it on our small cap gappers list because we didn't have that many running today, so we will talk about it further. IWM dropping here off the open, much like a lot of the action we saw with the market. We know this is a little bit more rate sensitive, and we did get here a slightly lower than expected University of Michigan consumer sentiment print. The bigger issue, though, at least the number the market reacted to more, was that weaker than expected Chicago PMI print at 945. That came in at 41.5 versus 46 expected. DUO, FANG DD, reporting its unaudited revenue for the first half of the year. They had $28.4 million in revenue, up apparently on a year-over-year basis. DUO market cap of under $10 million. IPTN market cap of just over $10 million. Meanwhile, they did announce in their intentions to develop a compliance-driven Web3 digital investment banking platform. So digital banking news for IPDN, which has a float of about 1.35 million shares. Last but not least, OPEN on watch here. We did have, I guess, a filing here last night showing that Trisha Radhakrishna, who has recently been appointed as their interim executive leader, in addition to being a president at the company, he bought 30,000 shares of the company, and he announced on X that he and some other executives are trying to end these share sales plans. Well, we know these sales plans were a big issue for Open Door investors, so this catalyst was very bullish in the eyes of these retail investors for OPEN. Back to you.
Yeah, that's
not that much money. That's
no,
like
man.
120.
the thing.
30,000 shares. It's
No,
a
the
$4
thing is-
stock.
It's not just that. It also go ahead, Adara.
My understanding was that the bigger deal was that they're moving to end the share sales plan, because that was a big issue people had with the previous CEO, Kerry Wheeler, like just people selling shares too much. I mean, we always say there's multiple reasons people can sell shares, but these open door investors are basically interpreting that if you're selling shares, you don't believe in the company.
Right. Yeah. I was going to say. Oh, by the way, I found this mug. Okay. Bears. Found it there. Get your claws off.
I thought you don't like the
Coffee.
Bears.
But I put in. Oh, I'm loving the Bears today, man.
Well, you know what I mean.
This has made me.
That's not what I'm
enough money
talking about.
Yeah. No. This will at least pay for my Micah Parsons jersey that we'll be getting very, very soon. I just got to make sure that he is going to wear number 11. I assume he will, and then once I get that confirmation, then
Who
I
wears
will be
11 on the Packers?
getting. No, I don't. Who cares who wears it now? To be honest with you, I would just.
Because we'll have to pay them.
I just got to search to see if it because we have a big ring of honor, so I don't know if it's a retired number or not.
Oh,
so.
no, it's my boy.
Who? Jaden Reed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's hurt.
Yeah, he's hurt. So okay.
I'm a
Yeah,
Michigan State fan.
Jones
Not-
fracture. That's
yeah.
right. I should have known that. I have Jaden Reed. I should have known that he was 11. So
Michigan State.
he'll probably give that back up there. But I have orange honey mandarin or something like that. Hibiscus. I don't know. Some kind of a nice smelling tea in there. So shout out to tea drinkers here today. Yeah, just quickly, let's go over again some of the sectors. We've talked about some of the stocks that you guys wanted us to look at, but Webull again off earnings, not great today as that gets to the downside there. Alibaba off earnings and new chip news as it's going one way, the market's going the other. This is again to our point. I had written down here long Alibaba, but unless you took the break real early, that long does not come through. This is 750. This is the pre-market. The market actually opens up right here at 930. Really no dip buy opportunities. I put the 21 period moving average. That's the one that's going to be a lot tighter to the market right here, because that's going to be, again, not a trend changing idea. This is maybe when, if you wanted to start to think about getting some out, where you would if you were for a longer term period. Every time we break this significantly, then break the 50 period moving average. Just a little area there to look at. I'm watching the 21 period moving average. Right, we're going to throw it to Neil, and then we're going to come back, and I want to look at some sectors.
Yeah, and if you're looking for what sectors to maybe swing trade in, potentially Trade the Pool's got something for you. Because they've got something special, and it's a free ebook featuring 4 proven swing trading strategies from Trade the Pool's top funded traders. Inside, you'll see exactly how they approach the markets, how they manage risk, and what setups they rely on, so you can learn and grow from what actually works. Download it now by scanning the QR code on screen or hitting the link in the description. So shout out to Trade the Pool. And I'm guessing we got some defensive sectors that are looking pretty good. But before we get to that, all right, the setup is happening here. I said wait for 14. I'm waiting for this 14 on bull. And it's got a trend. It's not a trend from the open, but it's kind of obviously trending down from the first available pop. And it's respecting the trend line since 931, literally. So if it breaks this trend line, it would have to get back above 14 really to break that trend. Hold the low, break the trend line, go long, similar to the open trade, but just in absolute reverse. But yeah, the market with the bleed here today. And if it's not a defensive name, it's not looking too good, I don't think. Here today. Maybe some small cappers. I get it. Like that nuke was okay for a little bit, and open was doing okay for a little bit as well. But unless you're in like the Walmarts of the world, the Costco's of the world, the Pepsi of the world, or gold, yeah, it's been a rough morning for you. But the market's down 1.3%. It's not the end of the world in terms of bigger moves, but certainly a lot of bleed. And this is coming after NVIDIA reported yesterday.
Right,
Let's not forget.
that's the other thing.
Like NVIDIA was down yesterday. NVIDIA's down again today. That's 2 days in a row for NVIDIA, the biggest and baddest and most important name in the market. And how it goes is how we go.
Yeah, and this is how we do right there as big trades. We've already talked about it's 10:30, so we'll just switch our gear up a little bit here as we have very small positions left in both of those names there. We've cleared out a lot near those lows and pretty happy with it. We never get out of all of them, but we try to hold on just to see where the market goes. But yeah, here's what Neil was talking about, consumer non-durables today. And again, it's just sector rotation. Sometimes you got to sit back and look at your portfolio and be like, okay, am I overweighted in a certain area, and pretty much everybody with this most recent run up, again, Fed rate cut imminent, right? We can actually just check on that really quickly here. It was 88%, I believe, yesterday. That's where we're going, Eric Lindros, and we're talking about who number 90 was and whatnot coming through. But here we go. Right now, 89%. So that's Alexander McGillney. I know that much. One of my favorite
Never
Leafs.
forget that.
So we had Pat LaFontaine on the show as well. So those of you, the Islander fans, the Ranger fans, Pat LaFontaine on the show a couple months ago.
But they were together on the
For
Sabres.
concussions. Yes, they were
He
together.
was he was in the Islanders, but LaFontaine McGillney
Yes,
were.
yes. And
It was,
McGillney wound up a Leaf, and he
Adam
wound up
Oates?
was a Devil as well. No, Adam Oates is not an Islander. He was
No,
Bruin.
he was a Bruin
Boston Bruin.
and
Yeah. Mike Bossy, the best Islander to ever play.
St. Louis Blues. That was the other team.
For Adam Oates, yeah.
St. Louis Blues.
89. What? That is the name of it.
Oh, I know, but
Oh, you're just saying.
it's like
What? You don't like that name? But anyways, okay. So that's the Fed. I don't know. We're Toronto Maple Leafs. So. Right into here. So yeah, the only name that seems to be hurting right now has been hurting for a while. Lululemon, everybody is not having the greatest time trading-wise these days. Kraft Heinz, which is downside, that's kind of strange because you would think that they might be up with all these other names here. But yeah, a lot of change up right now in the market. As you can see, there's been basically a flip from this side to this side right now. Alibaba is still going up. We're hearing about it. I did want to check on health technology. We've had Eli Lilly. We've had some of these names going up and going down, and Eli Lilly right now just floating around. It was zeros yesterday, zeros today, so we'll have to see what's going on there. Pfizer, I'm not sure what's going on with Moderna. Moderna hasn't been the greatest of stocks. We did get that CDC chair, I guess, was let go. So there's lots of stuff happening here these days. With
UNH wasn't. UNH was doing well
with
earlier. Michael Burry special. As well. Like, we keep saying Berkshire Hathaway for UNH, but let's not forget it was Michael Burry as well. He put some new long trades on in his latest 13F filing, and at least until maybe 15 minutes ago, this was trending up and looking like it was going to be a nice defensive play, but right back underneath. So what's weird about this is it's just straight up accumulation. The stock cannot get too far away from $300. So yeah, somebody seems to be buying it around the $300 level, but it's not doing it any good. It's just holding, and this is exactly what happened the last bounce on UNH. No breakout. It just needs to break out 325. And there's always these negative headlines, more investigations going through for them. So despite the fact that everyone seems to be bottom picking this stock, it'll hold the bottom, and then it won't actually do anything off of these consolidations. I don't necessarily love the sideways action that we keep seeing here on UNH. But let me just go back over here because we were talking about the fintech names, and Bull just wicked the bottom. So this could be the setup. We'll see. It just wicked. When I say wicked, it broke the low and is trying to close back and hold that prior low. So if it can do that and break the trend, it looks good. But you know what? Why hunt for it if something has already done it? SoFi has already held the low. And SoFi has been on the good. And since their earnings has been nothing but upside for SoFi. Remember, in a higher time frame, a lot of the reason why, part of the reason I actually believe in Webull as well applies here too. Everybody knows we're going to 24-hour markets.
Yes.
Right, and everyone knows that it's going to be a positive. And I think the more that you can give your customers, and that's why I like Webull, the better. But SoFi, what sets them apart a little bit is the banking charter. But since earnings, it's been only upside. Outside of this $26 level, but let's not worry about that now. What I'm sort of looking at is what's happening. If I draw the same trend line that I'm looking at for Webull, where it's at the low, SoFi is doing it with a higher low. So it's only down 1.8%. I think this is one that I want to take a look at. And I keep refreshing the stock visualizer, and Open Door is still at the high. It's like Open Door, Alibaba, and MRVL.
All these Chinese names.
Continuously. And Alibaba is $134. Yeah. Alibaba is squeeze zone. So the news here, of course, developing a chip to compete with NVIDIA, and they had strong earnings. It was a double whammy for Alibaba. Their data center growth. I mean, So their cloud growth was on par with Alphabet in terms of percentage. And then on top of that, with this new chip that think about it for a second. They already don't, the Chinese government already doesn't want their companies using U.S. chips. At least that's what they're saying is a negotiation tactic. So do you think they're gonna press for them to use Alibaba's chip if it can be comparable? Of course they are. Like, that's the ultimate bet. Forget about taking a stake like the U.S. government would do. Like they'll just say you guys are using this, and they'll be like, okay, and they'll do it exactly like that too. Okay, they'll be afraid. But to Alibaba, 12%. I'm surprised it was this far without any real pullback. It's just been that program buying that you see sometimes here in the Chinese ADRs, which sometimes you know what that means.
Yep.
It's like who's doing some of that buying?
Yeah, the government has been in there buying, and they're allowed to do that, right? We have the punch protection team here
it happens here
in the United States and in Canada. So, yeah, that should be a good one for sure. Yeah, so that's some of the talk there, but what's been going on. Let's just have a quick check on, is there any names in here? And I know Neil's already refreshed this, and we've had a couple looks on this already today, but Open Door up 3%. Congratulations on the Open Door trade. We've been talking about that for a little bit, but if you're playing options, these kind of moves really aren't doing anything, I would think. You guys tell me if you're in this name via options. Nuke is absolutely huge. We had sort of looked at that a little bit earlier. Maybe we'll do that in a minute. NVIDIA's down 3%. Almost getting close to buying the dip on this one. I do think that a dip buy opportunity for NVIDIA is around 170, and we talked about that yesterday, so we'll probably be buying some more there. I told you, I just want to try to buy the best names, and I thought that was going to be MRVL. MRVL today, not one of the best names. Oh, wow, you're only down 17%, so that was good. Right there, down 17% for this. This is a huge name in the space. So we actually bought more today at 64, so we'll probably buy more tomorrow at 62. All right, AMD right here, down 3%. That's not very good. IPDN only up 170%, so we can find out about that. And we had the Celsius story earlier for you. I don't even really remember what it was at this point. Pepsi, yeah, something to do with Pepsi.
Pepsi increased their stake to 11%.
Okay, so
they already owned it. They bought some more.
Yeah, there it is right there. Yeah. Expanding partnership with PepsiCo. So let's go over here and look at CELH. This was, again, a really high flyer when it first sort of came to market now. And there's Celsius right here on the daily. Look at this move that it's had. This is since August. Like, Adira, what was the real catalyst down here? Like, is that earnings there? August 8th, if you could look that up. Early August there. Celsius right there, acquiring Rockstar Energy brand in the U.S. and Canada. Pepsi increases stake in Celsius to 11%. $585 million investment. This is Pepsi's now leading energy drink.
It was earnings.
Yeah, so, all right, so there it goes. Thanks, Adira. Celsius distribution across North America now. So it's like that whole thing with ELF, right? I mean, the minute that ELF got into Ulta Beauty, it started taking off. Like, this is what they need. They need these agreements. They need these partnerships to get going and just give them some more exposure. So look at ELF as well. Man, damn, I'm never going to hear the end of this one from myself either. But that's a nice move there. ELF trying to take out some highs. And, yeah, Pepsi, when you're in the space, you're just looking for distribution and getting on the shelves. So right now, Celsius can definitely, wag their tail a little bit more in the space because who has more? I mean, Pepsi and Coke, I think, are all the clout as far as shelf space is concerned. And you just made basically a deal here with Pepsi and didn't cost you anything. They invested in you. Yeah. So I like Celsius here. I just lost my chart, though.
Anytime like a big company just starts slowly getting more and more, it's like, well, maybe at some point,
it's a takeover candidate.
They just decide.
Pepsi also.
For a penny, in for a pound is
they took out SodaStream, Pepsi.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Exactly.
The more you know. Where's that button? Right there. But okay.
Button I don't have.
All right.
There it is.
Right in here today. Oh, that's nice. My wife is chilling out. She's been at hockey all week, and now one of her friends is there with her. That's nice. I'll tell Marissa. We were just saying the kid's finally going back to school on Monday. So Tuesday. I wish Monday, but Monday's Labor Day, so we have to wait and let them
enjoy your long weekend.
Our kids don't know. I know your kid does. The teacher. Yeah. They're waiting for today to find out who their teacher was, and my daughter, same way, because she could either be in a 5-6 split.
It's a cheat. We didn't technically know, but there's a thing that gets that got sent out that has like a code for the class.
Okay.
And so we know somebody in the board.
How do they know?
The code, if you know a certain point, that's the initials of the teacher.
Oh, okay.
And so when we saw the initials, we found out from a mother of a friend who had this parent who had that
said,
kid.
like, I've seen this code.
They're like,
before,
yeah, I've seen that code. I know who that teacher is. So that's essentially what happened.
SodaStream is still around. Yeah, they got bought out.
Whoa, that was interesting.
They didn't get taken out. There.
No, just a little volume spike. In
Webull? Yeah, I just saw you call that.
So Webull broke that trend, and then it just kind of little volume spike almost into the volume weighted average price. Always have orders out.
Elf on a shelf.
Because if you know you're taking it out on the way to the volume weighted average price here at 1420, then why not have orders? Like I have my orders every 5 pennies on this one. The last one didn't get filled. I didn't get filled in front of 1420. We got the 14 change. We got 1406. We got 1412, and I had a 1418, which did not get filled. But after that volume spike, if it goes right back to the low, that's bad. I mean, obviously it's bad, but to me, if it doesn't put in a higher low here, you don't like it at all. So my stop would have previously been this bar here, but now I'm going to move it to this bar, which is closer to break even. But maybe a dead cat bounce there, but it was just a trend break. So we had a few trend break trades today because when the market's trending, you tend to have that set up more, obviously. That kind of speaks for itself there that you're going to have a few more trend trades. The one name that's on that list that we haven't really gone over is not Tesla's, but Tesla.
Isaac Tesla?
Oh, yeah, I don't want
to. You have him? No, because Jameson Williams. Yeah.
I have Jameson Williams in both my pools, and I do not have
in my other pool, I have Amon-Ra and Jameson Williams, and not Tesla. So that's a problem.
I think Tesla is it's gonna be more important for him after they can't pay Jameson Williams.
Right.
And then Jameson's gonna leave, and then this guy's gonna
go to Green Bay. Yeah.
So Jameson's not going to Green Bay.
Well, our wide receiver room is getting thinner because
I want him on the Bills.
Christian Watson is out now. He's been out for a year.
A receiver like Jameson Williams, just a pure speed guy
with
that arm on Josh Allen.
Yeah, well, I mean, why can't they just get that? They had some speedy guys there, I thought, but Jameson Williams, we'll see.
Who?
Jared Goff. I thought Khalil Shakir was fast.
Yeah, he's a slot guy. He's more quick than fast. I'm talking about a burner, a dude that you want on a 4x1 team like James.
You're talking about Matthew Golden.
I love Golden.
4-3 or whatever.
That guy, his route running is.
Yeah, he's going to light up, hopefully, Jordan Love this year. Okay, empowered women do change the world. You can scan that QR code right in front of you and help make this happen. Women Boss trains and mentors women and girls across Africa to lead, innovate, and thrive. Since 2018, we've reached over 10,000 women and girls, and your donation today can help launch the next great entrepreneur. Scan that QR code on your screen and help us build a brighter future. So we want to thank Women Boss for making that possible on our stream. Yeah, thanks for that. And yeah, let's go back over to Adara at the desk.
I'll start. We actually have some more notes coming out of Fed's Cook's hearing here. So these are coming from legal reporter Zoe Tillman. She is saying that apparently the judge, who is in this case, Gia Cobb, is making it very clear that she does know her ruling is not going to be the final word. Now, apparently she's even asking Lisa Cook's lawyer for precedent supporting his position, but when I say his, I mean Fed's Cook's lawyer, because she's very worried about apparently getting smacked down by a higher court. So lots of concerns here apparently about the legal precedent issues for the judge in this Fed's Cook hearing. If I get more news, I will let you guys know. But it sounds like the judge is very aware that there could be, of course, some appeals and some higher court issues with regards to this for-cause issue. We know this has been an ongoing concern and source of commentary with regards to whether or not a president can remove a Fed board member. Let's talk here, or governor. Let's talk about these sectors because it's very clear who's leading to the downside. It's 3 sectors in particular: electronic technology, technology services, and producer manufacturing. We'll start with producer manufacturing. Kat here with a negative note, sending GEV, LRCX, and a whole bunch of others sharply to the downside. Electronic technology here, NVIDIA leading to the downside. We know Wall Street Journal reported that Alibaba out in China has developed an AI chip. Broadcom, AMD also pushing lower, as is Dell. Dell here on day one earnings. Technology services, Oracle leading the way to the downside, down 5.5%, but CrowdStrike also giving up some of its earnings day one gains. Netflix, Palantir, Microsoft, Meta a little weaker here too. Transportation, Uber notably to the downside here. Consumer durables, we have Tesla leading the way, lower. Finance, health technology consumer non-durables, and energy minerals all slightly green. So it looks like a lot of these tech names and some of these industrials are part of the names dragging this market lower. Back to you.
Yeah, energy. Not bad.
Yeah, that was one of the index. That was one of the sectors there that was well positive there, energy. And don't spend too much energy looking for those stocks. But I would just say XOM and CVX are the stocks that
that's
we really
with oil
like.
down.
Defense tech here. I mean, what about Nuke? I mean, Nuke just continues to go upside here, 34% here today. NUKK. Nice move here. Strategic partnerships, I guess, being talked about here. Significant strategic shift from fintech focus to new emphasis on defense and aerospace sector for stock Nuke right now, and it's starting to go back to the upside after making potentially a bottom. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that you're looking for. I mean, you don't want to catch this falling knife, but the reason why I waited for this to sort of load back up is we've seen this $2 mark before and went like this, and now you're just falling back in and maybe a bottom there at 350 for NUK and then NEKK. And as you look there, bouncing off the 200 period moving average. So again, just kind of goes back to what individual traders are looking for, and 200 period moving average right there on the 1 minute chart has been a pretty good one. So watch out for that. A good hold there at 450 for NUKK as that looks to go higher there. And then Gap, I just wanted to check on this one because another retail play that gapped lower, made it all the way back, and now is trying to make a difference here. 22 to 22.50 for Gap. So yeah, not really going around too much there. I don't know. We talked about Costco and Walmart and some of these other stocks, but right now Gap, a nice move higher from yesterday's earnings was not great. So I remember Darren and I were talking about that, a nice move there for Gap, as the guide was not the greatest there. But I don't know, retail, you have to have an online presence. And I think Gap does, right? I mean, Old Navy. I know that whenever we're buying stuff from Gap, my wife it's called Gap Cash. And she gets like basically tons of things sent her all the time. And then we buy our kids. I mean, not so much anymore because, my daughter wants to wear LULU and Aloe and all that crazy stuff. So, Sharif, this is why I talked about using more shares, my guy.
LULU's a problem.
Right there.
They're not doing well.
Yeah, no, I know, and that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So some of these apparel names not doing the greatest, but some of these discounter names, I think, like a Gap, doing good. They have Athleta, I think, is their brand. And apparently it's not too bad.
You get a little weakness in the labor market, mix in a little bit of tariffs.
Stock market's at all-time highs.
It can be a little bit tricky for some of the, well, to a certain extent, but unfortunately, retail, a lot of retail needs the people that don't have money in the markets. That's sort of the rub there, unfortunately. Lulu. That being said, Lululemon, as Sharif likes, maybe, just maybe, I'm giving it the old. Maybe we can get above that 50. This is where it gets interesting. This is where it gets interesting for a stock like this. It's like how badly can you really get beaten up here before you get some kind of a turn? And we've seen this story before with Nike. Not that it's not a direct comparison, but Nike has managed to turn it around in a big way. Like this. I'm not saying Lululemon. I'm not saying Lululemon is going to go 50% from here or anything along those lines. But there can be a light at the end of the tunnel, no question. That's even though you have some of those troubles. You get a little wipeout bottom. You get that 50 period. Nike is a perfect example. It's a really tricky business for any brand to stay on top. Like there's always going to be that moment where you have weakness. And it's what you can do after that. Like Nike's always had some staying power in there, but it's not like they haven't been tripped up a little bit. And Lulu, they're having their first big trip up. And the question becomes, can the brand sort of stick with the next generations? I tend to think it can. I mean, even just doing channel check, hearing.
There's. I mean, the kids still. I mean, my kids do. I don't know.
I mean, the quality's there. I think price is a bit of a problem for them. That could be a little bit of a tailwind. A headwind is what I meant in the next little bit, but. Maybe that just means you have to be more patient with them. But I think looking at what Nike's been able to do here gives you some kind of a chance. I did get into just SMCI off VWAP. Ultimately, we liked SMCI short, but when you don't, this didn't pop, obviously. It's just immediately dropped, kind of like NVIDIA. It just immediately dropped at the open. So getting into prior closes or any resistance levels was going to be impossible. But it comes back into the volume-weighted average price. does a little bit of a dip, and I'm now in. It's now going sideways, but prior bar out, and then we'll look for it to get back into the low of the day. We haven't talked a heck of a lot about crypto, by the way.
No.
And
no. Thank God.
Well, 108. We're at 108.6.
Yeah, I want to talk about Solana.
I mean, look, everything's down. So to say that IBIT's down and Bitcoin's at 108, probably not surprising. ETH down at 43, 4,300. So if you look at, and they're kind of making bottoms here because the Nasdaq has made a low. But just one note, ETH has bounced to VWAP, volume weighted average price, a little bit better, like a little bit better than Bitcoin on the bounce. So it's
market's
still
turning around,
just a little bit better, but the market's rolling back over. I think that's why when the market bounced higher, that was a chance to get into, like if you missed a short in something, your chance to get in would have been when we just bounced here, I think. So that's why I jumped into SMCI. Webull it's probably just going to break down again. So we had the trend break on Webull. Yeah. My stop is now right here underneath 13.9. It doesn't seem to want to go any further than 14.15. Like that was the top end of the move there for Bull. Give it the old 2 or 3 day rule.
Look,
it wasn't anything that bad. It wasn't anything terrible in the report for Webull.
I thought it was great.
And it's at the 50 period, which, by the way, when it respects the 50 period on the daily, it's closed underneath and then opened underneath. But it held and then broke back out. So I'm not even super concerned if it closes under the 50 period. If it breaks down under the 50 period, like loses $13, then I'd be a little bit more concerned.
I want to show everybody something here. Okay, so, this is MRVL. I'm not actually, maybe I can zoom in a little bit here, right? And not just because I just bought some more, but look at this, 1046, MRVL. Wells Fargo, overweight, maintains. MRVL, Barclays, maintains overweight. Right here, Rosenblatt maintains buy on MRVL. Look at all these price targets, 90, 80, 95. Evercore ISI, this is after their report comes out. Outperform right there. Benchmark reiterates buy on MRVL. Needham reiterates buy on MRVL. B of A, screw you, downgrades MRVL. Okay, Jeffries, buy at MRVL. All right, so I mean, this is what happens, and we talk about investing and how investing is a different beast than obviously swing trading and all that. We don't need to talk to you guys about all of that, but you want to try to still buy, and it's right back to where I got filled, actually literally right here at $64. Buy good companies, and I think that I'm not alone in thinking that MRVL does have a little bit more upside to where it is right now, but it's definitely not at that level to dip by anymore. I just did it today to figure out what's going on, but right now it's MRVL's world, and we're all living in it to the downside right now, and it's not a great one. But there goes AMD as well. We just take another piece out, man. You bounce off the 50-period moving average. We'll take this out. $5 in the money on MRVL. Let's take another piece out on the TQs as well, as we're sort of at that low again, and bang. Money. Let's just go. I mean, we are now $8 in the money on these two trades, and they're the ones that we had. This is from 8:30, and our AMD is from 9:30. So two early gets right there. And then the only stock that I'm bleeding on is Webull, and that was a lot better than I thought it could have been, because we actually got out of a third there. And we talked about it. As soon as we got out of it, I was like, we're getting out of a third there, and then we're getting out if it breaks 14, and we got 1402s. For some reason. So that was actually a pretty good fill there. Yeah, look, people talking about $60 maybe on MRVL. Yeah, I mean, that would be nice.
Why are the chips down? So a lot of the reason why the chips are going to be down, like part of it has to do with NVIDIA yesterday, regardless of what you think about it doesn't matter what you think about the earnings. Like they were down yesterday.
Yep.
Sign of weakness could be that Baba's producing their own chip, or the Alibaba chip was one piece of bad news. NVIDIA had a report come out after earnings that the reliance on their top two customers for what previously was 25% of their revenue is now up to 39%. So you have more competition from the biggest name. And on top of that, you have China coming out and giving an alternative. It's just throwing a little bit of cold water on the chip space here today. And again, the price action is the price action. Mm-hmm. It's easy to say, well, these are the stories. I'm just telling you what the stories are around the chip space.
Yeah, tell them.
At the end of the day, price action is a price action. Sometimes it doesn't matter. You just want to observe it. Like I tend to think that I liked NVIDIA's earnings for the most part. But it doesn't matter that I liked it. it's just been weak off of the highs. And there's a decent chance that we could retest minimum the 50 period. I don't know about today because you still have to drop another couple of points to get there. It's possible. And if we lose that, then I think you start hunting for a real good dip buy zone, because I think that's going to be a great opportunity. If we lose a 50 period on NVIDIA, it's a matter of where I want to buy it again, because I'm not waiting for the 200 period, which is $30 down. It's got to be somewhere in between. Let's go to the desk. Oh, shoot, it's past 10:50. Let's go to Adara.
We're going to look at the US dollar here on a weekly chart, because I've talked about how range bound this has been over the last couple weeks. I think you can really tell when you actually see it visualized here. This weekly chart, we've had more or less the same base for now going on 3 weeks. This week, we actually right now are poised to close slightly green. But again, it is worth noting, like, if you look at the range between the last 2 weeks, especially, basically identical. Tops here just below 99, bottoms here around 97 halves. Let's talk about some of this economic data that we got today. These PCE prints came basically exactly in line with estimates across the board. That's for core and non-core, month over month and year over year. I would say one of the most market-moving prints came at 9:45. U.S. Chicago PMI lower than expected, pushing the market a little bit lower, though we were already headed to the downside. Then we got this Michigan consumer sentiment, and it was very mixed at 10 a.m. 58.2 coming in here for the sentiment print versus 58.6 expected, slightly lower than the forecast, but 5-year and 1-year inflation actually both coming in a little bit lower than expected. 3.5% versus 3.9% expected, and then 4.8% for the 1 year versus 5% expected. So these inflation expectations are getting a little bit lower, could potentially be viewed as a good side, but that decrease in the inflation estimates with the decrease in consumer sentiment does send, as I mentioned earlier, a bit of a mixed signal. Let's talk here about the Fed, because we know this has been on watch. I did check the CME Fed Watch tool. Right now, we're still about 87% here with that 25 basis point cut. Lisa Cook's hearing was on watch. I'm not sure if it's still going on, but I've seen some commentary here from legal reporters who were at the hearing on X. Looks like the judge in the situation, Gia Cobb, is very concerned about making sure that there's precedent, because she understands the possibility that things can be overturned, especially because, as we've mentioned quite a lot here on the show, the issue of cause is a bit tricky, specifically because the actions that Lisa Cook is alleged to have committed, which were mortgage fraud, happened prior to her, appointment to the Fed. Now, usually for cause will mostly apply to actions that have happened while the person is in their position or actions that are directly related to the position. This issue is neither, so it's going to be a little bit of an interesting legal issue. We'll have to see how it all resolves. Back to you. Make sure to like and subscribe.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, we're just going to have to wait to see how it all unfolds. And, I mean, President Trump definitely wanting to take control of the monetary policy. We've already gotten a few different Fed members in there, and we're going to see if we can get another one, and then we'll see if they're more conservative or not, or what exactly is going on there. As Lisa Cook, that's still to be discussed, and how that's all going to work out. But one thing that we can do right now, it's 10:55, so. All right. Yesterday actually was black in tilapia, and so sometimes whenever we get to tilapia, we hope that it's not that. But yesterday it was that, and today we go back right back to where we're kind of more comfortable, because today we've had a bunch of these. So if you're into poultry and whatnot, then today might be your day. I just heard Joe's getting pretty excited about it. It might be okay. This could be up our alley, and it's not going to be the ingredient that we were hoping, because it's not going to be natural, I'd imagine, but it's maple glazed chicken. So I was going to say, like, if it was real maple syrup or something, then maybe we would get a little bit more hot fire on that. But maple glazed chicken with vegetable fried rice, it's not too bad. My wife just asked me what to make for dinner. I said chicken sandwiches, so I maybe have to change that. Vegetable fried rice, garlic bok choy. That should be really tasty there. Get those greens going as well with, ooh.
I love bok choy.
This is one of my favorite summertime salads. Summertime.
Favorite summertime salad.
Summertime.
I don't know if I have a favorite.
Shout out to Big Willie Styles there. Oh, did you hear that? Oh, yeah. Oh, I didn't even say it.
Greek salad?
It's cucumber and tomato salad.
Okay.
I love that, man. We have some sick tomatoes and cucumbers growing at the Katina household right now. Chop them up. You get a little oil and vinegar, a little bit of salt, pepper on there. That's it. Finite. You are done.
You guys do cucumbers in your garden?
Yeah, we have. Yeah, I show you some.
Ours didn't do too well. So we
Some of them kind of, like they always get that little look about them.
We didn't do them again this year because last year they didn't do too
That's
well.
the thing. You know what? Who gets those are the squirrels. The squirrels are loving life when it comes to cucumbers.
They find
Cage, come on, man.
The squirrels don't care. They're gonna find a way.
Yeah.
There's only so much you can do.
Yeah, man. You
when you have a garden.
You can't protect your neck too much from that. But I like. I'm definitely a fan of the cucumber and tomato fresh stuff
tomatoes.
Right there, and you cannot beat it. The tomatoes that I really like, but are really you know what to manage, are the cherry tomatoes.
Yes,
because they grow in like weeds, man. And the next thing you know, there's millions of them, and you're like, what am I supposed to do? So Will Smith, apparently, this is what I was going to get at, and I saw this on TMZ or something. They were saying that his promo video for his concerts, no, it's not that bad, was all the fans in there holding the signs was AI generated. So they're saying that like his little promo there was actually pretty much like nobody was at these concerts or whatever, and he was getting some AI generation happening. So shout out to Will Smith, very creative on that.
Yeah, do what you got to do.
So do what you got to do there.
Not a fan.
Big Will.
Not a fan.
On that one.
We in our fantasy football chat, somehow Aunt Viv came up. I think Aunt Viv came up in the chat.
Did she?
And like someone was like, "Oh, I only believe
there was something. Yeah.
I only believe in the original Aunt Viv," and I was like, "I second that." And someone was like, "Are you hating?" I'm like, "Absolutely."
Neil hating on something? Never.
No, straight up. In Fresh Prince, the original Aunt Viv called out Will Smith on some of his ish.
Oh, really?
And
Okay.
she ended up getting
That's the
kicked,
story.
and then she ended up being off the show because they clapped.
Oh, that early? Oh, I thought
maybe
you meant
there was a hint at the type of dude he was. I'm just throwing it out there.
I don't know. Is Will Smith that bad as a dude? I don't know.
I don't know, but just sometimes you find out things down the line. It's like, okay, well now you look at it in another light, right? Like the original Aunt Viv was the ish, but anyways,
I liked Uncle Phil. Uncle Phil was great. Carlton.
James Avery's.
Something. What's Carlton's name again? It's like an Italian name.
Alfonso Ribeiro.
I was gonna say it's an Italian name.
Sharif does the dance, believe it or not.
Sharif does great dances. You know, in another life, Sharif was a line dancer actually, and that's why he likes Dallas Cowboys so much. You know, he has those boots. Do you own cowboy boots or no? No. Okay. We almost had the dance.
There it is. There's the dance.
The thing is, he's got the neck and that is it.
It's like the whole.
What a great show! Didn't they try to
vibe?
Didn't they try to reboot?
Yeah, they tried some kind of a reboot.
Oh, it's still on. But it's not Will though. It's
no.
Okay, he's too expensive now.
I don't know the.
It's also like a drama where Alfonso. Sorry, I almost said Alfonso. I did say Alfonso. Carlton has like a substance abuse issue, and it's like very serious.
He does.
And I don't know. It doesn't like. I think he's also an athlete. Carlton. Like they changed his character a lot. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not jiving with Carlton having a substance problem. I feel like he's like a guidance counselor.
No, but in the original, when he accidentally, like that was different. But like he actually, that's just so far away from the character that you're just being ridiculous.
People are now questioning if Sharif was a dancer or not. No, I made that part up. No, and he can address it. Maybe he has a history.
He was a break dancer.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, I think we all tried.
He literally did some break dancing on the green screen over there. He literally was breakdancing on the stage here, although we don't really have the green screen anymore because we're doing bigger and better things, everybody.
K-pop.
That's why it's all dark around here. Can't see anything because we're hiding it from you. No, because they actually haven't done the lights yet. But once they do, that'll be another step closer to Studio 8.
It's a big black screen behind us right now.
It's going to be a big gigantic.
It's going to be something else
that you guys should be excited about. But you should also be excited.
It's going to be nice.
Well, we'll be excited for our chicken and salad
really
lunch.
Nice.
And some IPDN and maybe some crypto from Joe. Small cappers. We'll see you guys back at 2 o'clock. Hopefully you enjoy your lunch. I know that we will. Hopefully we'll get out for a walk. It's a little bit cold, but it's about to heat up with the midday.
Is it that cold?
It's cold in here.
Yeah, it's 18. Oh, and here.
18 degrees is cold.
All right.
It's underneath. If it's underneath room temperature, it's cold to me.
Ciao for now.